Okay. Last session, we welcomed a new adventure to Corvair some 4 years after the Day of Mourning, 2 years after signing the Treaty of Thronehold. And we'll pick up our game mere minutes after the destruction of the elemental galleon luxury liner known as the Golden Dragon. We saw many individuals cross of Siri, apparently a diplomat on behalf of New Siri. Rowan, the sort of recently famed on the front of the uh, Cronenberg Chronicle for a difficult path in their past and now sort of coming into society. Elizabeth, who is a very, shall we say, focused member of House de Juras, or House Jurasco, who will dissect just about anything, including the lobster. We have Ludwig, who has proven himself to be a Carnathi with a perhaps an unexpected politeness, as the reputation of the country is one of warriors and not one who can speak with such eloquence. Um, we had
Unexpected
Zolly,
niceness.
right? Um, Zolly de Torn of House Thrash, who proved herself not only to be an intimidating hunter, as is common of her house, but also cuts a fine figure in a dress, apparently, and has drawn some attention of their own. Holden Lackyard, a new member on the scene, who has proved himself mysterious but charming, it seems, and quite skilled on the dance floor. Many interesting individuals who have all been brought or were brought to a big feast, to a big gala, to a celebration of the unity of House Lyrandar, the Mark of Storms, for their many constructions on behalf of the Royal Court of Ondare, which has commissioned them to create many elemental galleons, airships. And they're sort of celebrating this successful business alliance between the most of them. You all found yourselves there with many members from across Corvair, very important people, including the Royal Court itself, the Baron of House Lyrandar, and many other members of the different Dragonmark houses and nations, so on and so forth. Um, it was a night meeting many people, but seemingly the one who was most interesting was a adventurer, an Undarian adventurer by the name of Kara Irvath, who, in the end, made a grand speech about sacrifices and wealth and bid everybody adieu before vanishing. And as many people seem to vanish aboard this ship, thanks to certain contingencies built into the ship's security itself, it seemed that for whatever reason, the six of you were marked to be utilized within these contingencies, and found yourselves, you six, teleported to a nearby hill where you had a great view of the Golden Dragon vessel imploding upon itself and being destroyed, which brought forth new dragon marks to each of you. I posted a picture on the chat of what that looks like if anyone cared to go look, if they happen to have missed it. But in the horror of this spectacle, some of you losing maybe people important to you, or the shock of the important people in society sort of possibly dying, this new unexpected dragon mark has appeared to each of you. What that means will be to be determined. But now, in this moment, we'll see where that goes. Now, normally in our game, we will then move into the reputation phase, where we would talk about the reputation changes of the various members of the party. But unfortunately, the party where you did a lot of a lot of that work is no more, and you guys, the polite reputations and gossips, will definitely put to the wayside by the survivors per the destruction of the ship itself. So there will be no reputation changes today. There will be no significant gossip to speak of today, except for anything that you may discuss amongst yourselves. And we will skip the epistolary phase. So for today, we're going to skip our normal special 3 phases because of just simply where we are in the story. But we will most probably be picking those up next week. But for now, you all stand in the aftermath of this destruction and revelation of these you six strangers, um, all bearing the same mark that is unrecognizable to any of you. Let us proceed to the game there, on this hillside, in the dark, under the stars, a couple of easy minutes from Fairhaven.
Zolly's going to pull her senses back behind her own eyes now and let go of the elevated sight spell.
Okay.
I'll begin conversation with by the dragon below. What was that? What is this?
Well, that was a, as far as I can tell, some sort of explosive.
Clearly, yes.
Judging by the boom, a big one.
We need to get somewhere. We need to get somewhere safe right now.
We need to establish a perimeter first and let the healer heal.
Is anyone hurt?
Beyond my neck, no. I need to get back into the city.
I have an above-the-table question, quickly.
Yes.
The golden dragon?
Yes.
Imploded as opposed to exploded. It folded and collapsed inward on itself?
It was a Titanic style half and half smush and then collapsed into itself. There's no wreckage to speak of.
Okay.
Yes, Ron.
All right, this is also above the table. House Cannith leadership. If Killian is gone, is there an expectation that would Rowan know if there was an expectation that she would step up and have to handle things?
No, the position of High Seneschal is once elected. Yeah.
That would have affected what happens next.
Yeah, of course.
We don't seem too far from Fairhaven. Let's head back there, find somewhere safe, and regroup.
I'm ready to the docks. They have my gear.
Yes. You?
Elizabeth will pause. And we'll just look at Cross. You look familiar. Where? When? Curious.
There's just like mist pouring out of their face.
Are any of you injured?
I will be fine. Thank you.
Is that a new injury?
Did Cross say mist coming out of his face? Right. Brian, I'm going to send you a message on Zoom.
Yep. Please continue, Zolly.
Zolly's gesturing upwards to where Cross's face mist is happening. Is that a new thing, or is that the...
I can assure you I'm just fine. It's nothing to be concerned about.
Oh, memento then. Okay.
There was a burning sensation on this side, and he gestures to where the mark is.
What? That's odd. That's the same one that... And Alia will kind of go from Elizabeth will go from person to person and get down here. and we'll check around the head and neck area and identify, yes, indeed, we all have these. Is this new? And assuming that I have one here, I feel something here on the side of my face.
You do. And Zaya points to her neck. This is all very new.
Well, I think, and she'll point at Ludwig. Ludwig was right. We're close to Fairhaven. We should probably go there. I've got a small place to stay, but considering how we got here and these, it would probably behoove us to stay in contact, but find out what we can find out and perhaps share information at some point tomorrow.
I know that none of you know me well, and moments like these don't necessarily breed trust. However, if you'll permit me just one moment, and he kind of looks around at the group to assure that everybody's comfortable with him speaking. It appears that we've all just been part of something significant. And more than that, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that it was readily visible to a large number of people. I understand that our instinct in response to such things is usually to seek the familiar and comfortable immediately. I'm going to suggest instead that we resist that instinct temporarily and take a little time to gather ourselves and consider our next steps. I've only recently just arrived in the city, and until now, no one has a reason to try to seek me out. I had a friend secure a private space for me, and my intention is to attempt to make my way there. Rather than returning to your homes and your friends and your registered quarters right away, I'd like to invite you and encourage you all to come with me first. The 6 of us are out here together, and now appear to each have these marks that your expressions tell me none of you has ever seen before. Perhaps it would be best if we traveled to this location and allowed ourselves a moment to breathe, introduce ourselves, and begin discussion of our next individual and collective moves.
What is your name, sir?
Oh, hello. My name's Holden.
Holden, I see. I think Mr. Holden here has a point. I think for now we shall gather a touch base, and before we scatter about.
Mm-hmm. He often has decent points worth mulling over.
Well, if I'm going to be largely useful, I need to get my tools and supplies, which I have a limited set here, but I can be significantly more useful if I can re-equip myself and get into some more appropriate clothes.
Mm-hmm. Did you check your bags at the docks, or are they back at your residence?
At my residence, I only brought enough for working material.
Okay. Well, we can make a supply run then. Go by different places, regroup. Personally, I have not yet even rented a room, and I will not be able to until I actually have my coin purse back.
Shall we make our way back to the city then, and we'll find a place to rendezvous once we're comfortable with having made ourselves whole again?
That sounds fine by me.
Absolutely, and I should be able to perform at least some investigation into the nature of our new situation.
At that, Zolly's going to look at the members of the group that were dragon marked prior. Out of character off the table, I'm imagining the burning felt similar to how whenever our first dragon marks manifested. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So she'll just give a slow nod. I think we know what happened. The question is more the how, which I suppose I will leave to you dandies and doctors to discover.
Right.
Okay.
Should we move to a safe space in the city then?
Yeah, very well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Like I said, very short walk, and you guys find yourselves, amongst your group of strangers. Begin proceeding back towards the city of Fairhaven. You indeed make your way within. It seems that you enter the city easy enough. You may pass some guards who would, I think, look at you twice, as all of you are dragon marked, and it's like
I'll say on the way back, Cross puts back their head covering, which does obscure the mark.
Got it.
I do as well. It's on the back of my neck, so I just try to keep my
I'm gonna
neck.
need it. It's gonna need to be on the front or the face, front of the neck or the face.
That's the neck or face. Okay, so I'll just have it on the neck here then.
Okay. Cool.
Does anybody have a scarf I can borrow for now?
I have spares in my room, but for now you'll just have to make do.
Alia will reach into her medical bag. We'll bring out a surgeon's mask. It's not great, but it's what I have.
Thank you. I'll just hold that for now like a bandage and just pretend like it's that for now. But thank you.
Okay. You put that there, cross behind your face, and yes, Rowan?
Above the table, when chicks have their hair done, it's usually pins that hold it up. Can we say there are certain pins she has up that she can pull out and redo?
Yeah.
Like
The outfit you sent definitely was up under the hat, so that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
like they look like this. They're not big tools. You can't do much with them. I'm just making sure. So yeah. While all this has been going on, she's been pulling pins out of her hair, and she shakes it out. It's actually pretty long, and she pulls it up this way, pins it to the side, and then moves her hat over to this side, which is her hair and her hat have always obscured her face a little bit. She just pushed aside.
Okay.
Your house Kenneth, yes? So I saw the trick with the dress earlier.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, Holden will begin trying to lead the group back into town. I guess we're already getting there, but in the most inconspicuous way possible, and aiming for kind of the part of the city where he knows to go without, traipsing a group of 6 newly dragon marked people through the middle of the city.
Okay, I want to bring up a quick point here, and I'm going to let it fly this time around, but as a reminder, this is going to be a game of big consequences. So you guys said we want to go to the city, and I said, okay. I said, all right, you make your way down the hill, you get to the place, the guard looks at you, and then we all decided to start covering that. So I'm going to let it fly this time around, but in the future, if we try and do that retroactively, it's not going to fly. So, yeah, I'm not trying to be a hard ass, but this is a big game of consequence. So we're early in the game, so it's perfectly fine. But going forward, just be careful. They're big repercussion game.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I like it. I actually prefer it that way.
Cool, fantastic. Yeah. So Ludwig is bandaged across your face is covered, and Rowan, you're all got your hair down over your neck. Three of you cover, three of you not. Sounds like. Make your way in,
So
and
yeah,
yes, Holden.
we're headed for the area where Holden met Pestle before the gala.
Absolutely. So
And
you make your way. Yeah.
yeah, and as we approached that place, like he would kind of try and like stash the group off, all back a little bit, so that they're, where the six of us aren't all walking in together to our final destination or whatever.
So you're going in staggered is the idea.
Uh, I mean, I think when we get close enough, it'll be like, okay, wait here, let me see if I can find my contact kind of thing.
Okay. Um, sure. So you make everyone down the street. You make your way through Fairhaven. You guys would see that there is, like I said, you make your way through the gate. Fair enough. Some of you get sort of like curious looks from the guards. They don't do much. Some of you are dragon marked. Some of you are not. Um, uh, so I believe Zolly and Elizabeth aren't covered. Your dragon. So you would be very apparent with two dragon marks. Yes, Zolly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And you, Elizabeth, where's your Drosko mark again?
One on either side of my face.
Okay. Yeah. Both of you are double down. So you get a very curious look as you go through the gate from the guards. They kind of, they allow you to pass, and they kind of sort of take note as that was a little weird. Strange group of individuals with strange number of dragon marks. But
Yep.
what do they
Yeah, I
know?
was like covering mine with like the maths 'cause she had like it was
And-
like on my neck or something.
And Alia's is particularly odd because the new one is in the kind of the blue purple. The other one is green and gold. And
Yeah.
not the happy, vibrant, lovely green, but that kind of decayed flesh green.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, so you guys, yeah, you make your way through. You'll notice that in the streets there is a large military movement. After a couple of minutes, it seems you guys got through the gates before anything was like locked down. But you do begin to hear sort of like a boom, boom, the various sort of war bells in the city going off. You see like a large troop of Fairhaven warriors making their way through the streets, sort of marching down the streets, people going into their various homes and walking the doors. Before this becomes too active, Holden, yes, you find the party to, what did I name this place? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
No, it's okay. Well, we're going to a new place probably. Let's see if we got
Okay.
anything. We'll say that he said he was going to meet you somewhere else here. Let's see. Do we have a new tavern? No, we do not. Okay. You take them to a place called the Gilded Shard.
Okay. That might have been it. Okay.
Let's see. It's actually a little more upscale. It's a place where I think Rowan, you've probably been into, being around Fairhaven a little more often. Like this would be somewhere where people of your class might be seen. I think for as wealthy and upscaled as it is, I think for someone of your particular station would have considered this kind of divey. Somewhere where like wealthy merchants go. So like kind of I don't know where the young heirs might go.
Is it the kind of place Inara might be performing?
Possibly. You don't know if she's doing it tonight though.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yep. Let's see. You guys make your way in, Holden, and it's a lovely, luxurious place. Chanted cocktails, fine wines. People are kind of sitting around and kind of talking to one another, a little like concerned. The sound of the bells. Maybe people are by the door, and maybe some people are like rushing out of the tavern itself to like go to their various places of rest for the night. The city's very much like headed for lockdown. Like this is like we're under attack. That's what these war bells mean. So there's people like running across the streets to try and get to their homes in time or get to their loved ones and whatnot. There's some people who are like, I'm just going to hold up in this tavern. And there are people who are like pretty much considering diving under the desk, but not quite. It's a little bit of a that sort of anxious energy, but no real panic. You hold in. You have left the party sort of in the alley outside, and you walk through to where they have these magical soundproofed booths, which are meant for the higher class, but work very well for someone like Basil. Yeah. So you head over to the booth you two discussed, and you just sort of slip into the booth easy enough, and grab a seat, and you are going to see that Basil is there, and he's kind of like got a look at his face, and he's like, "Holy shit, Holden! What the fuck happened?"
And Holden, kind of these we can see outside of these booths. Are they like
it's like it's almost like a sushi bar-esque where there's like the little drapes. You can kind of like pull the drape back and look into the main bar if you wanted.
Okay. So he'll just kind of look back out whatever slit in the curtains or whatever there is out the entrance and give like kind of a soft, slow, easy smile and say, "Yes. So as you recall, I asked that I might need a place to kind of lay over for a few minutes. Clearly, this is not the atmosphere that neither you nor I wants to be immediately involved in. I do have a few people with me and a little something to talk about. Do you have a place for us?"
Well, yeah, you told me to set something up, so I did. I would be very excited to hear how you're fucking alive. As for one, from what I'm hearing, something about an airship blowing up, and I only know about one airship that took off tonight.
I'm perfectly happy to explain later. Let me lay out for you the current situation. Outside, I have tucked away a small group of people. Have you seen the newspaper in the past week?
And just a question, is your dragon mark there?
Yeah, he's gonna get to that, but yeah, it is there.
Yeah, well, he's got and Casil's got so many questions he can't get them out fast enough, and you're going through. So yeah, he's like scanning you over or whatever. He goes, no, I haven't read the paper. No, I haven't read the paper.
Oh, okay. Well, there has been one particular woman whose face has been splattered all over the front page of the newspaper the past week. She was at the gala that I was at on the airship that blew up, and I happened to have her with me. So, if you don't mind, I'm happy to answer any of your questions, but I need to get her out of the public eye as soon as possible. No one else knows exactly where she is right now, and I have no designs for kidnapping anyone, mind you, but having her in our company could work to our advantage. However, we've got to get out of the midst of this chaos.
Okay.
And by the way, and then he does kind of like, even though he doesn't need to, he kind of like flattens his hair against the side of it, against his head, and he says, "Check this out. So I told you before going to the gala, we were going to be stepping into a new league here. So I suggest you take this opportunity to come along, trust me to navigate it, follow my lead, assist when possible, and you and I may be able to turn this into something very advantageous."
Make me a persuasion or intimidation check. It is your choice to see if you can get him to just shut up and do what you say, because he's a lot of questions.
Oh, that's going to be a 14, unfortunately.
14?
Yep.
Well, it seems the dice are in your favor, and he
Oh,
goes, "Okay, okay, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Okay, I'll meet you up there. Um, it's third floor, um, room 3 at the end of the hall. It, you know, I picked a nice soundproofy place because they. I figured, okay, just maybe there, just maybe there. Get your people
oh,
there.
it's here.
Yeah, is
The,
that
the
okay?
place is here. Pestle.
I think this is the last place they go looking for someone like us.
All right, it's fine. It'll work. I need you to make sure. Um, hmm, okay. Um, I suppose if I could have you, or were you doing anything else this evening?
Drinking, largely.
Perfect. Keep doing that. I'm going to bring them out or in and out as quickly as possible at the moment. In the meantime, if you could just kind of watch out for us to be a lookout and let us know if anybody attempts to is. It looks like they're about to attempt to come upstairs and look for us. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll scope out the stairs. There's a back door. Use the back door. I'd recommend probably. Um, yeah, I'll keep an eye on the stairs.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you. I'm going to go
Uh,
usher them in the back door.
and he's gonna set out to kind of like put himself in a visual position of like the stairs. And yeah, he'll give you his room key. He says there's only one and want to raise suspicion, but I can do two. And so I'll meet you there.
Perfect.
And he'll go scope out the stairs, and you can go grab your allies and start making them up to the third floor.
All right, everyone. I've got a little room for us upstairs in this fine establishment. We're going to go in the back door so as not to arouse any new excitement with our new decorations. Um, and then we can introduce ourselves, talk a little bit about what happens next, and everybody can go about collecting their personal belongings once we're done. How's that?
Yeah, it sounds good. Oops.
Very well.
By all means.
All right. And I will try and usher everyone in the back door.
Yep. Issue everyone in the back door. Why don't you hold in? You're gonna have advantage because Basile kind of scoped it all out for you and kind of laid up the plans. So you're gonna have advantage. You're the one moving people in this situation, so this is more gonna be about you than them. I'd like you to roll me either a stealth or deception check at advantage to move the party through without too much recognition.
Sure.
Can we help with that, or?
He's already got it.
Okay.
He's already being provided.
Okay.
Jeez. I cannot roll. All right. It's a 14 again.
14 again. It's a pretty good roll for the common man, even a little more so. Anyone with any keen eyes might catch, but you do manage to, one by one, escort Cross, Elizabeth, Zolly, Ludwig, and Rowan to this room. You guys would all find yourself in a surprisingly nice room. I think, Rowan, you'd be like, maybe not even notice because of your own station. And like, that is just what you're used to anyway. But it is a very nice room. It's basically a suite style room where there are multiple closed doors that could lead to smaller quarters, and the main room is very fine, lots of places to sit. There's a couple windows. It's on the corner of the building, looks out onto the street. Holden, Pasile picked a good spot for you guys and told you that it was soundproofed. Yeah, you all find yourselves up there, and there's a bottle of wine that's there, like complimentary sort of thing, and it'll do the job.
All right. So I'll kind of, slowly, like carefully, kind of push the door shut. And is there like a bolt lock or something that we can lock?
Yeah, the door absolutely locks.
All right. So and kind of just like lock the door and then turn back to everyone and with a very welcoming face say, "Okay, again, as I was saying, my name is Holden. I hope that this room will work for the moment. And like I suggested, I think we could take a little time, take a few minutes to have a nice, calm, cleansing, smooth breath, gather ourselves a little bit, consider where we go from here, and in the meantime, maybe introduce ourselves since it does seem, he kind of, again, flattens his hair against his head, even though it's not necessary, that we're all in a little bit of the same, oh, forgive the pun, boat.
That's
At,
well,
at
well, that's the problem. We're not in the boat anymore.
Technically, it was a ship.
here's a first thing. Can you unlock that door?
Oh, certainly. And I'll turn around and unlock it.
Because I would imagine the lock is at 2 feet above her height.
I imagine, given the presence
That's fair.
of gnomes and
Right.
I imagine that it is one of those, but I think you should if you wish to.
Sure. No, I'll unlock it for everybody's ease. Okay. So, and he'll glance at Rowan for a second and smirk a little bit, and then look at Zali and say, "Okay, would you like to introduce yourself?"
Of course. I am Zalima Nasir the Thorn, Zali, the short. I'm a member of the Finders Guild. And she'll tap the mark of finding on her cheek. I just got into town today. Everyone keeps looking at the Kenneth like she's famous. Is there, what happened?
Somebody has bad taste in literature.
I see.
I suppose now it would be as natural a time as any for you to introduce yourself, Mr. Kenneth.
Rowan.
Rowan, nice to meet you. And you, sir. And he'll point to, he'll like open his hand towards Cross.
My designation is Cross. That's the name I was given. I'm part of Prince Orgev's court back in Nicaea. I was here as a diplomat.
And you have limited memory. That's why I remember you. Has your memory come back at all?
Ross kind of stares at Liz for a little bit and then just shakes their head.
Oh. Well. That'll make for a more interesting diagnosis later.
If you're someone who knew me from a past life, I would very much like to speak further at some point.
Certainly. At any point. I guess this is as good as any. My name's Elizabeth. I'm a doctor with the House Jurasco.
Well, now, see, we're making connections already. And you, sir? The man from Kornath?
Kornath, yes. I'm Ludwig Edraga from Edraga. I came here on a diplomat as an invite.
And with a Kornathian accent, Holden will say, "It's very nice to meet you, Ludwig."
But I wish it was under better circumstances, but likewise.
Oh, right. Yeah. Now that we're all a little bit more friendly, I'm sure that everybody wants to get wherever they need to go. Part of the reason that I offered this opportunity was so that we could take a little time to think that out before we scurried off into places that may be a little overwhelming, as you can see from the streets outside. I personally am going to have to find a different location since I've brought you all here. Um, I'm sure some of you have safe places to go, but I urge you to consider the safest means to get there. And I don't think it's a bad idea for us to meet up again afterwards at some point, at least because, again, we share a similar set of circumstances now, and that might be worth tracking down at some point.
Well, I may be able to apply some diagnostic skill to our newest adornment, at least on my own. Now, since they all seem to be similar in aspect, if they're like the other house marks, they probably are going to have similar manifestation. But what those are, obviously.
Enchantment. It's enchantment. Charm person. And the ability to command, I think.
Interesting.
Are dragon mark? I'm sorry for interrupting, but are dragon marks just known to appearing on people?
There's usually a trial of some sort. Different houses will have different processes by which they go about seeing whether a mark will manifest on someone. Usually, it's a stressor of some kind. A wilderness journey, some sort of fight or a duel, or something exceptionally stressful. In my particular case, it was, multiple days of direct triage, which caused, a great deal of anxiety and exhaustion, which encouraged either encouraged or provided the opportunity. The cause and effect isn't clear. These are born out of a little bit different situation.
I disagree. The situation is the same. Extreme stress and a magical trigger. Cast mace enough to do the job.
But
You're typically connected by a bloodline, though, yes, and clearly I am not related to any of you.
Every family has foundlings. Why there's no incest.
You got a little bit of oil in your blood then?
and I've been studying my family history for going back centuries. I know nothing about. I have no relations between myself, the Dragus, and the dragon marks.
I'm telling you. New blood comes in all the time. Just not bandied about.
And have you ever seen a halfling in House to Kenneth?
Yeah. When was the last time there were new dragon marks? Because this is a new thing, yeah?
I believe famously Zolly, I'm pretty sure Thrash is the most recent, so famously you would know that would be you guys.
Can you
Yeah,
like turn the
there's
music down just a tad because I'm struggling to hear a few people?
Music, sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, House
Can
Thrush is one of the youngest for sure, and that was 498 YK. What year is it now? 998?
Yeah.
yeah, so that was about 400 years ago.
can I make an Arcana check with regards to the aberrant marks?
Yeah, absolutely. Make me a to a degree? Do you mean like how it works or its history?
That they exist.
Oh, sure. Yeah, make a history check. So if that was 498, Zolly, that would have been like almost exactly 500 years ago.
Nope.
Actually. 8. Yeah.
No, I'm spending a my
Fair enough.
inspiration.
There you go.
Fair
That's
enough.
better.
Yeah, you are pretty dang aware of the aberrant dragon mark. You know that they have been sort of hunted for it in history. Um, it is a bad mark, is what is people generally considered. The reason why they're sort of on the outskirts of other dragon marked houses and why they haven't been sort of, shall we say, brought into the fold of society is because they are indeed aberrant. They kind of appear on anybody, and they're also linked to aberrations, to the Dalekir, who are to make because that's not what the check is about. We'll simply say they are the enemy of the people of Eberron. They're very bad news. So naturally, people were like, "Nope." But yes, you are aware of them. You're aware that historically they've been bad news, and even in today's society, they're regarded with great suspicion, at best.
Possible.
They're also, and because you rolled so well, I'll give you the description. They look like almost like just aesthetically, they almost look like barbed pincers or spikes, and they're like red and black. They're unlike any other dragon mark in coloration and in design. Yours does not match that description.
Does our match any other known dragon marks?
Make me a history check, Ludwig. Don't know if you know what all the dragon marks are.
Okay. 18.
18. 18 is really good. I'll say that like in this moment you can't like have a perfect recall of any, like you don't have a keen mind, like you're not photographic, but you haven't seen one like this before. Like you're looking around the room, you're at least looking at Thrash, Jurasko, and Canis, and you probably remember a handful of additional ones. You've never seen one like this, but you don't remember all of them. So it could be one that exists to your mind, but you just don't recall ever seeing one like this.
I see. Do you all remember that one woman giving this speech and who vanished before everything went wrong?
Kara something.
Iraf. Kara Ilrath.
She had
all
some
the handouts
pretty-
are posted, by the way, so you can look them up if you ever want to.
She had some pretty interesting things to say just before she fucked off.
Well, I suffer from situational paranoia, so I have a hard time believing that coincidences necessarily exist, but until I can prove cause and effect, they're correlated, not causated.
It's a profound coincidence if it's just dumb luck that she happened to disappear before everything went wrong.
You
No.
can flip a gold piece 50 times and have it come up the same side every time. It can happen.
I would hazard to think that this was I don't think that was intended to kill anyone of great import. But I do think it was intended to send a message of how easily they were threatened.
We all saw the queen be vanished like us, correct?
We did.
Okay.
I'm going to say that the only person here who would have an inkling that they vanished, but nobody here knows what that's about other than Rowan, who's explicitly described it by the engineer of the craft itself. So, to all of your knowledge, those people were like captured or killed by magic. You don't know what that is.
Could they have been kidnapped by these people?
Likely they survived.
Are you so sure, Miss Rowan?
The way we did. Safeties. The ship had a safety protocol. That's why we were all teleported.
Was there a predetermined evacuation point then? Why were us 6
and not
isolated?
Others?
Excuse me. May I ask a question? What color pen did you sign the logbook with?
Gold.
I remember seeing 2, a gold and a silver. I signed in with a gold pen as well. You, Rowan?
Gold.
Ludwig?
Ryan, do I remember if I signed in with gold or silver?
Yeah, you said it with gold.
Gold as well. Interesting.
Holden?
Good catch, Jarasco.
I believe it was gold.
Well, I think we know the method, if not exactly all of it. So it was certainly by design.
Interesting. But how could they control for that? If were we all given the gold pen, or were we all just choose it?
It was handed to me when I came on board. The invitation checker brought me over to the book, handed me the pen to sign my name, and then I was allowed on board.
I think the same might have been true for me. I struggle to remember at this moment, though.
Was that the It wasn't the first mate that signed this on, was it?
No. I
was a lady, but
Yes.
can't recall.
It wasn't Mazia de Laurenta?
No, there was a young woman prior to that. After Sunny and we were ushered to the Lavendar young lady.
They were just running the check and didn't give it much thought.
Well, so I didn't give it a great deal of thought until the need to understand how do you separate some out of a whole like that. And I briefly recall that the gentleman I was having a conversation with, who was directly in front of me, was handed one pen, and it was silver. And when I went next, I was handed a gold pen. I didn't think anything of it at the time.
It assumed it meant to detect dragon marks, but if the non-marked among us also signed with it, that is, as you say, very odd.
I am nobility, but I am not dragon marked. No, at least I wasn't before.
Well, That's a phrase you will never be able to utter yet again.
Eh,
If this was a
Did-
Lirindar ship, they would likely have a chakra manifest of those sailing on it, those flying it.
Assuming it survived.
Well, House Lirindar, fortunately, is more than just a ship.
Sure.
exactly.
They would have
The-
records.
The thing that I found interesting is somebody referred to that as an explosion. It
That
wasn't.
was my-
It was. It's very similar. It's called an implosion. Explosions tend to push material out and away. It you will see a particular type of injury associated with those. Implosions are where material collapses in on itself,
Like
and
two.
and those have different injuries associated with them. Both are explosions can be more mundane ish. You can be accomplished with alchemical means. Implosions on that order of scale, I'm not familiar with any alchemical method that would do it, which leaves some sort of either some sort of magical means, be it divine or arcane, one of them. And the nature of the origins for dragon marks is sufficiently obscure that whether it's divine or otherwise is open to debate and interpretation. It's not my area of expertise.
The doctor, Liz, you said your name was Liz, correct?
Elizabeth, but please call me Liz. It's easier.
Elizabeth. You'd mentioned that you saw someone in front of you. That you.
Yes.
It sounds like you weren't familiar. Who signed with a silver pen? I walked on board alone. Was anyone else accompanied on board? And did any of you see what the people who you were accompanied by? Did any of you see what they signed with?
Who were you with, Lady Kenneth?
Above the table. She's pretty smart. Can she roll to see if her uncle signed with the silver pen?
Sure. Not a difficult check. Just make me just like a flat intelligence check. We'll call it like a memory check.
19 on the dice.
You're good. It's like DC 5.
An 18
like,
intelligence. She's pretty bright.
This happened very recently. It's not a high DC. Yeah, he signed Killian signed with the silver pen, and as you sort of recall the moment, you don't recall. Well, there were a couple people. I think there was like one or two people ahead of you. You recall that they signed with the silver pen. It was a second thought, but you're pretty sure you recall you being the only one to sign with the gold pen.
Would Zali remember what Baron signed with?
Go ahead. Make me similarly intelligence check. DC 5.
Okay. Intelligence. It's a 7, so that's enough.
Yep. You recall that he signed with the silver pen.
Sir Thornblade also signed with the silver pen.
Killian. My uncle, he signed with the silver pen.
So, I suppose the next logical question is, do any of us remember anyone who's not one of the, he goes around the room and counts, not one of the six of us? Has anyone seen anyone else sign with the golden pen?
I was one of the first aboard, so I didn't see.
I did not linger at the entrance too long.
I do not recall. No.
Nor I. It wasn't what I was focused on at the time.
And Zali and Elizabeth, you were not familiar with the people that you did see sign, is that correct?
No, we were, frankly, Lady DeCannis, we were having a chuckle about your pre-pent
Yes,
suit.
I heard.
It was very lovely, but it seemed impractical.
I was glad for the reason to change. I owe you a drink or something.
What is this about the pantsuit? I did not know about this.
There was a dress. It was very impressive.
Ah.
But Lady DeKenneth, you did know the people that you were with and that signed with silver pens, is that correct? Can you think of any reason why the two of you would have been offered different pens? Why you would be in this situation and not them? I can hear you. Your mic's off.
Yeah, I can think of a couple, but nothing worth mentioning now.
I see.
I have a question. Before things, I apologize, imploded, who else was enjoying the speech that was being given?
I was there listening to the speech.
As was I.
And did you like the idea that those in power are simply holding on to it for the moment? They are not invulnerable in their positions.
Well, I found it amusing, to say the least, to have the gall to say that in front of those you were condemning.
Mm-hmm. If we were selected, I doubt it is any trait of bloodline. One of us does not have blood. And therefore it is a trait of motive, I imagine, that we might share.
Well, there's an inherent issue assuming that the speech, the teleportation, and these new marks are all interconnected.
I can confirm that the teleportation is likely connected to the ship's security devices.
How do you know this for sure, Lady DeConneth?
Because I was getting a tour of the ship. I know the ship's capabilities. I specifically asked about security.
I see. So you believe the Queen is in safe hands for now?
I think it is possible.
All right.
Well, I think
that is the only piece
Let us-
which we have a an explanation.
Well, I can speak for myself in that I have, particularly in light of the current circumstance, I have some obligations that need to be tended to, but I think we should absolutely reconvene perhaps on the morrow at some point. Uh, so we can discover what the impacts are, and my presumed condolences, Lady Kenneth. I can only assume that anybody who wasn't a gold pen signee is wherever the wreckage is, and that apparently didn't come to ground.
Don't have enough information yet. Not yet.
Out of character, off the table. Do you know about how large Fairhaven is as a city?
It's pretty big. It's a metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
It's the capital of Undair, so it's pretty sizable.
Yeah. Do you
I don't
think?
remember the population, but I remember it's in the six figures. I don't remember exactly, but I know for sure it's six figures.
Just in the city?
Yeah. Like, well, I assume that's like city and whatever metropolitan area. There's always shit going on outside the city, but like it's. I
There's
only
a
know
population just under 100,000.
Is it just under 100,000?
Okay.
Like I remember it. I guess I've remembered six figures. Like it's big. Bigger than city.
Holden, do you think you could look into something for me? Oh, never mind.
Yes, sir. Certainly.
If the pen is relevant, do you think the staff of the ship would still be in this city? Do you think they would be keeping a cover, as it were? They would have returned same as we did.
Well, I have to be honest, I really don't know, but I'm certainly willing to see what I can do to answer that question for you.
If you can find what district the sailors on the airship may have been staying in, I can see if I can find our pen.
All right. I will certainly get to work on that as soon as we split up. As I mentioned, I don't necessarily have anywhere specific to go other than that, and to find a new place to stay. So while you all are checking in with your loved ones and worried parties, I'll work on that.
Where shall we meet on the morrow and when?
Perhaps back here?
This seems as good a place as any.
So, I would also go ahead, Lady Deganeth.
No, I was just going to say here seems fair enough. We all know where it is. Once we leave, we'll be able to mark how to get back here.
I have one request. I have to say this has all been very enlightening and illuminating discussion, but fair to say, I don't know any of you, and you don't know me. And I want to at least clarify something that I'm sure is bothering all of us before we start collaborating. I have one question, and I wish to guarantee the truth of the answer. So, if you would permit me, I'd like to create a zone of truth and ask if anyone here was directly involved in what transpired.
I have nothing to be afraid of. Go ahead, right ahead.
Actually, that saves me some time.
That seems both reasonable and prudent.
You may feel an instinct to resist, but I request that you just allow the truth to leave your mouths. And I'll cast Zone of Truth. And you
Anyone
can...
resist?
Anyone resist it?
Nope.
No.
Thought about it.
You all feel yourselves compelled to speak only the truth.
There's a strange metallic taste in your mouths.
Rowan steps up first. First person to speak.
Were you in any way responsible?
I have no
for-
idea what happened. I have no idea what happened. I had no responsibility for it. But
Very
I'm
well.
trying to find out.
Don't feel too compelled to speak. I wouldn't want you to reveal deep secrets you wish not to anyone to know. Holden,
Yes.
were you in any way responsible for what happened to the ship?
Well, I can't help but feel a little bit responsible. I mean, most of you probably saw me dancing with the young lady who made the speech and disappeared before the event. I must admit that I didn't know her prior to the event, and she, as Zolly can attest, came up to me and asked me to dance. That's really all I know of her.
Well, that satisfies me. Elizabeth, did you have anything to do with what happened to the ship?
I can attest to the fact that I have no responsibility for the goings on that went on with the Golden Dragon, unless dissecting and eating a lobster somehow caused it. But
That
I'm
would make me
assuming
onto a
probably
crime,
not.
maybe, but not a war crime.
Yeah. Zali, did you have anything to do with what happened to the Golden Dragon?
Not to my knowledge.
And finally, Mr. Jericho, did you have anything to do with what happened to the Golden Dragon?
No, none whatsoever. I have no ill intent coming here tonight.
Step into your
Very
own
well.
spell now.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Step into your own spell now.
Ah.
I don't think my own spell affects me.
I don't
Does it-
think it does either. I'll check. I'm gonna double check.
Does it say that it doesn't?
I mean, I placed it on myself, so I guess. I mean, it says any creature, so I guess me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it doesn't-
a point of your choice range
doesn't
into
roll you
the
out, they'll
spell
hit you.
creature.
So yeah, I'm
You're a
electing to
creature
fail.
that has entered the area.
I'm electing to fail, but ask away.
Did you have anything to do with the events aboard the ship?
To the best of my knowledge, I had nothing to do with it. And then Cross just kind of clenches a clawed hand and spell ends. Thank you for permitting that.
Does that happen every time? That
Aftertaste.
odd metallic.
Like I was sucking on the copper piece.
No, that's more like blood. This tasted more like I don't know. Definitely
Couldn't
metallic.
say. Lack the
Ozone. Like right before you struck by lightning or charge.
Hmm.
Basically.
And before we all leave, I would ask that we can agree upon about what we tell our respective peoples about what happened here tonight.
Well,
So,
that's worthy of discussion because some of us have varying degrees of responsibility, but I think we would be remiss in not recognizing the fact that if indeed this is the appearance, and it seems to be, of a new dragon mark, that there is both opportunity and implied danger associated with that to each of us as individuals. The dragon marks have made wealthy and powerful families that some of us are already associated with. But that did not come without a degree of discord and associated danger. The existing status quo, I would presume, would be interested in taking advantage of or removing competition. So do care, I think, would be well served. But by the same token, not taking the risk and opportunity would be ill served in my estimation. But we need to see how this mark manifests itself, and we should not be afraid to try it within reason, because that's the only way we're going to have any idea of breadth and scope.
So we're agreed. We'll all meet back here tomorrow after checking in with our respective people. Perhaps gauging the temperature of the response to the event among them and the general public.
For myself, I'll not only check in with the healers of House Durasco here in Fairhaven, but if there are any injured, I will endeavor to get some time with those individual patients to see if they have any particular memories or recollections of what went on. I don't know how much I'll get before when we meet tomorrow. Shall we say 4 bells in the afternoon?
I suppose that sounds reasonable.
We'll need an opportunity to rest some, and then finding out what it is that we can find out, and if arrangements need to be made, whatever those needs to be, that can be done.
Very well. So, are we agreed on what should we do about these new dragon marks? If we should tell others about this?
they're going to see them. Some of you can type.
And that is absolutely true. I mean, some of you may be able to obfuscate them, and Liz will gesture to her face. Some of us will not be able to. But I think that we would be served by being reasonably indirect. And by that I mean, if there aren't specific questions, we don't provide any answers. If there are specific questions, go forward with caution as you best see fit. For my own self, I have every inclination of being recalcitrant because I do not have enough information by which to base a hypothesis at this point in time. And that will likely be my answer as much as anything. But that's only if I get asked.
Zali,
Hmm?
do you have a room in the city or no?
Not yet, no?
You're welcome to come with me if you like. After this, we can find a similar place in case you want to confer over the evening.
Certainly, I'd appreciate that. Can we drop the Zone of Truth now?
Oh, I dropped ages ago.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'll
I
use
mean-
it for the one question.
So you're all heading out.
And okay, we'll agree not to advertise necessarily the dragon marks for now, but we begin this softly, so to speak. All right,
Master Jaeger, my intention is to not say much to anyone at all this evening.
understandable. And you may call me Ludwig.
Ludwig?
Okay. We're all heading our different directions.
And as we're leaving, I also would like to try to catch Rowan on the way out.
Okay.
Like, while still like holding this, like having my neck like this.
You've been doing this the entire time with your thing?
No. As I'm leaving, I'm going out in public. I try to hide it like this.
Oh, so you two are you're catching. So you guys are like leaving.
Yes,
intend to,
leaving
with Rowan. Okay.
Oh, Rowan, as soon as he starts to try to talk to her, she'll stop.
Okay. Stop in the middle of the hallway. I want to know. Hang on. Before
She's not going to leave and start walking to her destination with him.
Got
I
it.
see.
So you two are essentially stopping at the door to the room. It seems like.
Yep, that sounds good.
Where's everybody else going? Like, what's destination?
You mentioned earlier that like it seems as if the city's kind of going on lockdown. I think, and you mentioned that some people are kind of saying, "Oh, just stay." Like, the other people will looking to be just staying in the tavern until things settle.
Yep.
I think Cross will be of that mind to just be kind of like, I don't really need a room. I'm a warforged, so I can just hole up here quite comfortably.
I'll just stand in your room while you sleep at night.
Well, it is like a suite situation, so there are multiple rooms. So there's like a common room, and there are this is a very acceptable place where if anyone wanted to stay to sleep, they could. As when you purchase a room, you purchase it for the night. So
Yeah.
you presume the place is a place to stay. Okay, so you're staying cross.
Gosh,
You
you
and
are
Ludwig are
welcome.
going to have a conversation at the door. How about the rest of you three?
Gosh, you're welcome to
hold
come
on.
with me if you wanted to.
Zolly's going to linger a while to catch up with Holden, and then depending on how that goes, may or may not be trying to make a run towards the docks discreetly to retrieve her equipment.
Understood. Okay. And how about Holden and Elizabeth? Holden?
Yeah. I'll be heading back down to the pub portion of the tavern
Okay.
to try to relieve Pestle, and I'll again try and grab him into one of the soundproof booths and say, "Okay, very good, thank you." Now,
Well,
everybody's
hang on a
what?
second. Sorry, we're going to get to dialogue. This actually is very important where everybody's off to. So, Elizabeth, are you just heading to
I'm
Drosta
headed
Citadel?
to. Yep, that's exactly
Okay.
it. And
Understood. So we're gonna. Yep.
And if I get stopped along the way by anyone, I'm a healer for Drosco, and I'm going to see a patient. Get the hell out of my way.
Got it. So we are going to start with you, Elizabeth, because you're the only one who's like leaving. No, never mind. You leave. Elizabeth leaves out the door. Yeah, let's hit you, Holden. So you catch up with your good friend, who has just been kind of like having a drink at the bar, kind of close to the door, or the staircase.
Yeah, so I'll clap him on the shoulder. Hopefully, is there someone in the near vicinity with a hat on? I'd like to find a gentleman with a hat.
In such a sure, of course. There's someone with a very fancy hat. Why not?
Oh, very fancy. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So yeah, I'll go over to that gentleman and clap him on the shoulder and be like, "That is a fantastic hat you have on. Is there any chance I'm about to go somewhere and I could really use it to kind of help pull the look together? Is there any chance that I could purchase that from you right now?"
You want to purchase my hat from me?
Certainly, it's wonderful. I have no idea to find one.
Make a persuasion check.
Yep. Ooh, 25.
25 goes. Well, I suppose. And he'll sell you his hat for like. Because my quote post is a little late. I'm going to be posted up here all night. I'm going to need to cover my drinks. So why don't we just put my drinks on your tab?
Fair enough. It sounds like a smashing deal. If I'm not here, my friend will be. If not, the barkeep will be happy to record your drinks and take my money.
Oh, very good. Well then, here you are. And he'll present you a sort of a triply sort of fedora with like two long feathers with like a red and a green feather off the side, and the brim goes nice and low.
Sure. I know Papa kind of jauntily on his head, smiling and kind of like fun guy at the party sort of vibe, and kind of do a little flourishy twirl around and march back off with some show to find Pestle and pat Pestle on the shoulder and be like, "Let's hit that booth again, shall we?"
Great. Sure. And you head over there, and he goes, "All right, so what's up? You're up there a long time. Who are these people? You're a dragon mark now? What the fuck?"
And he tips his hat back. Apparently, I am a dragon mark now. Isn't that something? I'm not sure exactly yet what that means, to be honest with you, Pestle. I don't necessarily know that it's aberrant. I don't know how people are going to react to it, to tell you the truth. I don't think that anyone yet knows why we have them or how to identify them specifically. So I don't imagine that there's anyone uh, you know, specifically negatively inclined, other than the fact that they're dragon marks that just, I'm guessing, no one is aware of yet.
Oh, you think he's some fancy, brand spanking new type of dragon marked house, are you?
And he punches him lightly in the shoulder. No, we're a fancy brand spanking new dragon marked house now. You and I, my friend.
Right. The Lockyard, Yen. Is that it?
I suppose so. For the moment, at least. You know, these things can be rather fluid. Uh, um, could you do me a few small favors? One is that now that to be honest with you, I don't know these people from anyone. I'm not entirely sure who they are. We've already cast one zone of truth this evening. If you could
Sure.
secure for me, a little place of my own outside of this establishment that everyone's aware of now, I would appreciate that. We will be back here tomorrow, and we probably will be using that room that you secured for us. I appreciate that. Deeply appreciate that. But I'll need a little place of my own if you understand.
I mean, in the middle of lockdown, you want me to like buy you a house? Is that what you're asking?
Oh no, no. You know what? You're right. I'll take care of finding a place on my own. Um, the other thing, and you don't necessarily need to make a major effort of it, but if you keep your ear open, if you happen to hear about where any of the survivors, besides ourselves, obviously, of the airship have turned up, especially, most notably, the unnotable members of the crew, the staff, etc.
I'll do my best. I mean, as soon as lockdown's lifted, I'll try and see what I can learn.
You don't happen to know where they originated from in the first place, do you?
Where who?
The staff.
The staff of the ship, House Lyrandor, I assume, or at least sourced by House Lyrandor.
Sure. So you would figure somewhere probably happened through the Enclave.
Well, listen, yeah, if you want to know about the ship and the staff and all that, you want to, yeah, House Lyrandor know about that. I also imagine, like, I don't know, I'd be careful out there, Holden. Like, I don't know, we're in fucking lockdown. They're probably out looking for anybody. If you survived, you're probably under suspicion.
You may be right. That's good advice, actually. Very clever of you, old man. I will stay here in the tavern for the evening, uh, despite my original intentions. You know me, always like to be on my feet moving about, but I think you're right that during the lockdown may not be the best time for that.
Right, yeah, probably best to keep our heads down right now, huh?
Absolutely. Do you have somewhere to go?
Me? I was just gonna be here. I mean, I had the room. I was just gonna stay in the room if you're not too fancy for me now.
No, as far as I know, there's only a few of us staying here. I do believe some of the group are leaving. To
So I
each
get
their
to
own.
meet the fancies you picked up.
Well, at least one or two, and I don't know that the ones that are staying are necessarily that fancy, but certainly intriguing.
All right, all right, gotcha. Are they cool? Are they like stingy, nose in the air types?
I think those ones are leaving.
Oh, okay,
There,
cool.
there's one that's with me. Oh, you've seen her. The shapely and sizable half orc. Um,
Oh, yeah, I
well,
remember her. Barking.
she'll be staying with us, and I don't know that there's necessarily any plans for the Warforged to be going anywhere either. Uh,
Oh, you
the
got a
others,
Warforged show. All right, sure.
the others, I'm not sure about it. It seems that the two ladies were intended upon leaving the building, and the noble gentleman, I'm not entirely sure of his intentions yet.
Oh, holding you dog. You got a bunch of ladies off the ship safe and sound, huh?
Well, that's something that I'm happy to speak about later. I'm You have some interesting friends, my friend. We'll have to talk about their origins later and their methods of doing business.
Yeah, I guess so. Can, I'll tell you right off the bat, I don't know much. They did like everything was very, through the cart, and it was very low key, and didn't really disclose too many names or such. They were real like, we'll see how this first job goes, and then we'll talk about it later, kind of thing. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'll see what I can find out, but it wasn't much, I'll admit. I know where to find them though.
That's perfect. We may end up doing that later. I don't necessarily, to be honest with you, have anything immediately prepared that I want to speak to them about, but it will be interesting to find out, or at least to inquire, um, what they did and did not intend. It was certainly a bit more than I bargained for. I didn't expect to be popped off into a field with a dragon mark on my head now, did I?
I, I sure as shit didn't. I would ask for more money.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about the money later as well, Pestle.
Right, we will. We will at that. We will at that. All right. Well, let's go. Let's go meet your fancy friends then. And you two can go head upstairs. Yeah, let's hit Ludwig and Rowan now. So Ludwig, you stop Rowan, and Rowan, you stop.
Yes. Yeah,
And
lady.
you guys are in the room in the main quarters of the suite, but it's certainly a large enough suite that you two could talk on this end of the room and be fairly discreet, and say Zolly could be on the other, and it would be fine.
Okay. Yes, Lady Deconeth. I, sorry for taking your time away, but a few things. One, I just wanted your assurances that you do think that it was a security measure that took not only us but likely the Queen out of there.
I believe I said so under oath. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I just want to be sure. That, and also what you said, something you said about earlier struck me as a bit odd. You are a lady, of course, of the dragon marked houses. Your instant reaction after being teleported from a disastrous ship implosion was to set up a perimeter. Most nobles I've met, not from Karnath, are not. That's not usually their first instinct.
Fair question.
Just an observation. I did read about you in the newspaper on my way here. Your time in the new nation of Dogum after Sire exploded. Interesting times. Yes?
Indeed.
Sorry, what was that?
Indeed. Interesting times.
It just came across as odd to me. Forgive me for wasting your time. I'll see you here tomorrow. And he gives a bow and he walks on out.
Rowan does not leave. She will hold back.
Okay, you stay in the room. Ludwig, you head out. You head out. You're going back to your hotel.
Would I know that of any? Civis is the one that is the Dragonmark house that does the sending messages, correct?
Yes, but I will say you get the sense that services are probably down right now. Since the entire city's on lockdown after a potential terrorist attack. They don't.
Yeah. All right. As the deep sigh, I'll make my way back. Try to find my way back to my hotel. I'm not from this
streets.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We will come back to you, Ludwig. Cross and Zolly. Cross, you're staying here. Zolly, you hung back. Zolly, you wanted to speak to Holden, right? Isn't that why you held back?
Correct.
Okay. So we'll say in this moment, there's a sort of a cross. You're kind of standing in one end of the room. Zolly, you're sitting in a chair on the other. Rowan, you're kind of standing by the doors. Ludwig is left, and there's kind of this like awkward, we're all just kind of standing there, and the door
So-
opens, and oh, go ahead.
Fairhaven. Haven't been here a while. There's still weather.
Yes. Well, certainly not my favorite city, and however, it never fails to deliver something interesting, doesn't it?
I do enjoy the food. I could do with less implosions.
So, hey, I'm here. Holden, are you going to introduce me to your lady friend?
Yes, Pestle.
Handouts posted
listen.
of pencil.
He points to his dragon mark again. If we're going to do this, you're going to have to learn to be a little more subtle.
Me subtle? I could be subtle when I want to.
And then he, Pestle. This is Zolly. Zolly the Torn, I believe. Is that correct, Zolly?
That is correct.
Oh, you're a dragon mark lady. Well, it's a pleasure to meet. And he'll like take your hands, Ollie, and you see like a very very like attempting to be formal. He does a little bow before your hand or whatever, and kind of, has a, you can tell this guy thinks he's a bit of a charmer.
Yeah. Zolly smiles just enough to show some tusk.
All the subtlety of thunderous cannon fire, I see.
Are we talking about me still, not the one who blew up a ship or something, or at least survived a blowing up of a ship?
All right, take it easy.
Also, who are you? Sorry, I'm a little, as you can tell, maybe I'm a little defensive. It's nothing personal.
Cross?
My designation is Cross.
Oh, well, pleasure. Oh, that was the wrong accent. He goes,
It's
well,
spreading.
pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you, Cross. Mr. Cross? Are you a mister?
Just Cross will do fine.
All
I think
right.
it's more of a geometry situation than
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know why I'm off country all of a sudden. Okay, stop it. Because well, I don't. It goes. Well, I don't know how to. I can't get rid of it. What the fuck?
Joel
He
sticks
says,
around whenever it gets.
Just
in
go
there.
with
So
it.
when that dialect
Oh,
gets in
hey.
your mouth, it's there for.
I know.
Sure.
Just rolls
And
in
it's
like a
almost
tumbleweed.
dialect
Very
for Rowan has
civilized,
too,
huh?
so this is rough.
Yeah.
I don't think about it much. Well, okay. It goes, well, fuck me. Okay, I'm just gonna talk. I can't do it. I can't stop it. He goes, well, I don't know how to apply geometry to pronouns, but I we'll go forward with that. And Holden, you told me that all the fancy ladies were gone, but I can see there's one over there.
Zolly, this is Pestle, a college friend of mine from my time as a youth in Fairhaven. And Pestle, as you remember, I mentioned to you that a friend of mine had made the arrangements for us to be in town today. You remember?
Oh
Pestle
yeah.
is the one that made those arrangements, Zolly.
Oh, delightful.
You're the one from the newspaper, aren't you? I recognize your face.
No, that's the other one.
No, I'm not. I'm obviously pointing at the one from the newspaper when I say that. You're from the newspaper. You're on the front page. That's no small news.
I really need to go and get the paper, don't I? Because people keep bringing it up, and I was on the road for a very long time just to get here.
I mean, I didn't read it. I don't know why you're on the front page. I just recognized your face from the big picture on the front of it. A very, very cool view. But yes, hello, pleasure to meet you. Sorry, we were. I'm finding myself a little overwhelmed, Holden, but you go ahead.
Certainly. So, it turns out, I guess, Lady Decaneth is not leaving immediately.
It appear not.
Okay. Then it will be at least Zoe, Cross, Lady Decaneth, and myself in the suite for now. Pestle, if none of you minds, Pessa will be accompanying us in the suite as well. As the city is on lockdown, he's not necessarily the sort that wants to have any unpleasant exchanges with local authorities, and he has nowhere else to safely and securely run off to. So if you don't mind, he'll stay with us. I don't mind keeping him with me, if it makes anyone more comfortable.
Yeah.
Does not bother me at all.
Well, thank you for fuck. Well, thank you for. Yeah, I mean, I bought the room, but yeah, no. Thanks for letting me stay in it. Appreciate that. Yeah. Cool. And he's gonna just go like pop the wine bottle and start pouring some drinks, going around the room handing out some drinks to individual. He'll hand one to you too, Cross. He doesn't. He's like, I don't know if you drink. I hear Warforged don't drink anything, but I'm still. I'll leave this right here for you. And he'll just go sit on the couch.
Cross just like stares at it. The red eye just like. Obviously, like you can't they can't like do any like expressions, but just the red eye like blink, like the light blinking rapidly.
Okay. He just goes and sits down.
You just go and take this back, and you like your fleshy insides consume that.
Wow. All right. That's a way of saying that. All right, I will. He'll go wander off. And if anyone cares to note, and I'm going to say as like a general thing for handouts, if you read anything and they don't have a reputation, like so everyone will have 2 tags. If they don't have a reputation, it means that they're not like known in society. They're kind of outside the scope of like polite society. So he has no reputation to speak of as of yet.
Understood.
He's civilian for all intents and purposes. Some of the riffraff.
Interesting. Holden, did you want to speak more privately or simply right here? I do not mind either way.
Oh, I'm fine. I don't necessarily know that anyone's interested in our conversation, but happy to have it openly if that makes everyone more comfortable.
Strangers, would you like to join us as we do not cause conspiracy, or are you simply going to gloom in the corner?
I'll sit in. Whether I'll contribute depends on what's being discussed.
Rowan steps forward, says nothing. She's generally looks pleasant. Like her face is always pleasant.
Can I roll insight?
Just
to kind of get a vibe on how much of a mask the pleasantness is, if that makes sense.
Yep, make an insight check. Rowan, make a deception check.
Okay. No, that's not great. That's only a 12.
Okay.
It's an 18.
18. You know it's a mask. You don't know what it's masking. You've had enough interactions with people tonight to know that the mild pleasantness in the wake of what's going on is it's apparent that it is not a true face, but you don't know what it is masking in this moment.
Very southern. Zolly will look at Rowan for a moment before turning her attention back towards Holden. And okay, well, we had intentions for this to be something of a more fruitful business endeavor than the ship still turned out to be, but personally, aside from getting my tools of the trade back, I think my goal is going to be to see if I can find what happened to that pen and who had us sign it. If I can find them, then we might have an idea of what they were doing with us. Does that seem reasonable?
Seems like a great idea.
working off of the premise that this was targeted at the six of us, then.
If it was not targeted, then we were selected almost at random, which is stranger. I am not fond of lotteries.
I just for what it's worth, I think I probably follow Zolly's logic. It doesn't. I mean, I suppose random has its potential benefits and purposes. I would think that if amongst a group there was a selection of silver pen versus gold pen, and that was the determining factor, um, then it to me seems intentionally targeted.
So 1 second.
So we were either included or we may have been excluded.
Beyond that, my the next steps outside of the pen and the pen woman would be Baron Thornblade and the lady danced with. What was her name?
Kara, do you happen to know? Did you? I know that you spoke with Thornblade. I pressed Kara for some answers as we danced, and I'm afraid she really wasn't very forthcoming about anything, really. So I have no idea how to seek her out if she's trying to not be found, which I assume based on her uh, exit and her parting words that she doesn't intend to be found again immediately. Um, I would be actually happy to be able to run into her again, but I don't know how successful that effort's going to be, given that it seems she has a few steps on us and the intention to not be immediately discovered.
Do you think she would still be in the city, or do you think she would have put
Honestly,
space between us and it?
that's probably a question for someone who's more.
Have a window. And we're actually
What's that?
wasting it right now. We have a window. While everyone's scurrying, we have a window. But we're sitting here.
I'm aware.
Holden, can you remember anything that she had on her person? What she was wearing? Jewelry?
Yes.
If you can describe
Absolutely.
it in great detail, I might just be able to beseech the sovereign host for a little guidance.
Absolutely. I know for sure that she had on an absolutely exquisite dress of an extremely light fabric, through which I could feel both the curves and tiny bumps and heat of her skin. So I know that she wasn't wearing a lot. She wasn't overly adorned. I did, as we were dancing, feel around a little bit, as is my nature, um, and found nothing of uh, specific note on her person anywhere that I could tell. I didn't notice any pockets or any items that she may have been storing on her. I will admit I didn't pay a lot of attention to the jewelry, as I could tell um, that she wasn't of the class of someone like, say, Mr. Kenneth here. So I assumed that the jewelry was more for, um, you know, long range visual effect than to be of actual value or use other than misleading decoration. Other than that, I really didn't note anything.
So I'm gonna bump in here for a moment because
Yeah.
I imagine with the craziness of what's gone on recently and you three in the room, I imagine you can role play literally like hours and hours of conversation, speculation, and what this person looked like, what we thought of this person. There was
Yeah.
dozens of people on that ship to talk about. Unless someone has a specific action that they'd like to do now.
I am. This is what I was angling for. Between the description of what Holden's given me, and I guess my own hazy memory of the event, can I cast locate object to locate her dress?
You could certainly try. What is the range on that?
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. Yes, you may. You cast locate object. You are hunting for the dress. I will even say so, Cross, that Holden in her performance was pretty exceptional and would have drawn the eyes of most people in the room. I imagine you saw it at some point. You cast the spell. Unfortunately, there is no. You do not receive any information. That dress was probably tailored, and thus there is no. You would be surprised if there was a second. Which also explains. So but yeah, no information. Nothing is caught by the spell to give you information.
On the line of thought, because I figured that's what you were going for, Nathan. Zolly's going to lean over to Holden, because if memory serves off table, she had told Holden about meeting up later after the event.
She, being who?
Kara.
Yeah, Kara.
Oh, okay.
At a lower key establishment. Did she mention a place to meet up after?
Oh, and he kind of chuckles a little bit. I must admit, that part, Zolly, was a little bit of misdirection. She was signaling some things to me that didn't necessarily jive, didn't necessarily fall in sync with the actual words that she was speaking. Call it a low
some sort of cant, but for thieves, maybe.
a low form of disguised flirtation, let's call it.
Well, so I assume there is no particular place then. That is fine. Let us. I'm going to head to the docks and see, one, if I can get my gear back. Two, if I can avoid the lockdown and the riots on the way over. And three, if I can get a good look and see if any of the Levant are sailors, sky sailors, pilots, airmen. Have since regrouped at the docks. It's likely where they would go following in the emergency if they were teleported out, and if they perished, then that is no longer my problem.
So, Zolly, you're heading out to the air docks, understood. Rowan, is there a specific action that you're taking, or are you staying? Just because we're hitting around our break, I want to.
I get it.
No.
Just to say.
Okay, stays, doesn't do anything. Understood. Okay, so we are going to. So there's going to be a number of things that happen. You guys are all heading onto the streets. Out of the three of you who are going out into like lockdown, are there any of you who are like trying to sneak past?
Yeah, Zolly is trying to be sneaky, and as she's looking out the door, she is going to just murmur very quietly beneath her breath, and is going to cast guidance on herself for stealth.
Okay, you may make a stealth check. Ludwig, are you being stealthy, or are you just kind of trying to find your way there?
Ludwig will try to. He's going to try to stealth his way there. The void patrols. Try to
check.
Okay.
It's going to be a 29.
Yeah, it's. Yep, I think that might do the job.
15.
Okay, 15. Elizabeth, you're just walking.
That is correct.
Understood.
I'm a doctor on business. Get out of my freaking way.
Okay, understood. So, Ludwig, you are going to make it back to your residence that evening without issue. Zolly, you are going to get to the docks. The docks are heavily patrolled. They are being there is a guard, there is like a security team, there's some kind of like captain of the watch. You even see a couple of the Knights Arcane, which would be essentially like the elite military force of Ondair. they've been sent out, which is pretty impressive measures. Do you wish to try like and to be very clear, like you're very stealthy. Security here is tight. Do you intend to try and infiltrate, like espionage style?
Yeah, so Zolly's has two goals. One is to see if she can find where her gear was checked, um, because that has her money, that has her tools, um, that has everything that she can kind of use for broader spell casting, etc. Um, and then secondly, now that she's at the docks, she is going to cast Locate Objects on the pen. But if she has reason to believe that her gear is beyond that perimeter, she is going to try and infiltrate.
Okay. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. You do sense the presence of the gold pen. You do sense that it is there.
Okay.
And where you sense it is not up top. You sense it is like on ground level, which would be like the foyer of the air docks,
Mhm.
where there is the heaviest presence of guards.
Okay. Is it moving?
It's not moving now.
Interesting. Whew. Um, I guess she's going to see if she can slip in then.
Okay, we're gonna try and break into this zone. Okay, we're gonna come back to you for that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I want you to make me a persuasion or intimidation check to see, because you definitely are going to run into some guards. I want you to make a persuasion or intimidation check to see if you can like talk your way past whatever guards you come in.
Oh, we'll go for persuasion. I'm nicer than I'm not. And I rolled a 19 on the die for a total of 18.
19 for a total of 18. That's pretty good. Yeah, you managed to talk your way by the guards. They kind of like look at each other, and you have like the Jarasco thing. You have the Jarasco mark, and they they ask you about the other one. So he goes, "You're sure you're Jarasco, but what's this? What's the other one?"
Oh, it was a it was a fancy dress party.
Where were you tonight?
I was in queue to get on the on uh the the airship, but I didn't make it. I was late. I was getting this.
Oh, I see. Will you come with us?
I've got a patient that I need to tend to, but you're welcome to come with me. In fact, I would sort of welcome it.
They look at each other and they say, "You could go see your patient, but once you're done seeing your patient, you have to come with us."
Okay.
All right, where do you take these guards?
I
There's like
head
there's like four of them.
I still head back to House Jarosco.
Okay, you head back to the Citadel of House Jarosco. We'll pick up with you in a minute. Um, we're gonna go to our break. I'm gonna see. We're gonna come back, and when we get back, we'll see if anybody gets arrested. Um, but
Nobody saw me. I'm not getting arrested. Nobody saw
no,
shit.
you seem to be doing okay. But Elizabeth and Zolly might be in a little bit of hot water. We'll see. Okay, we'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Ominous noises.
What is this? Oh no. Very ominous.
So how's it going?
Yeah, hey there.
Hello. I'm sure this won't go poorly at all.
It's fine. It's only session 2. What's the worst that can
Hmm.
happen?
What are you going to do? Stab me?
That's this game's version of like permanent death is that you just get a jail sentence for like 50 years.
No, they got to Napoleon you because you're from an important house, so you just get sent to an island for a forced retirement.
It's called getting Napoleoned.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as you don't empire build when you escape the first time, it'll all be okay.
Yeah. They just have to know that you're really sorry.
They Napoleon you is very funny.
Well, I suppose it's better than being boned apart.
That's what they
All
call
right.
getting boned.
All right. I think we're getting close to things working on my end. I don't know what it is lately, but Tailspire just craps every time I try and open it. My whole computer flips. So we are going to. Man, I was like, I don't need to do my calendar this week. Everyone got blown up. It's fine. But turns out I should have done that. I always find that I should have. I don't. Jesus. Why are you all over? Okay, let's see. Sorry. Cool. There she is. Alrighty then. Okay, so we are going to start with Elizabeth. As you are marching through the streets with, well, you're being marched through the street a bit with 4 different guards at your back. You make your way to the Citadel Jarosco, and you make your way into the foyer where the guards are. Looking a little bit more tired than she did before, you see, as she ever is, Hanila de Jarosco sitting at the sort of desk. The entryway is kind of empty, surprisingly, considering what has recently happened with the lockdown and everything. So there's no current patients who are like waiting to be, or actually no, I'm gonna be fair and roll for that, but I don't know why. Yeah, there's nobody there. There's no patients that are currently sitting in the waiting room, waiting to be attended to. Let's see if I can give you a little bit of better description here. House Jarosco has a citadel here, and it is a fortress-like structure of white marble marked with the house sigil. You enter into this sort of administrative center here at the beginning, where Hanila sort of, her eyes go a little wide as you enter with this escort. Says, "Oh, Elizabeth, hello. What's going on?"
There's a lockdown in progress. There's quite a little bit going on. Is Oscar here?
Yeah. He's somewhere around here. I think he was in the training center.
I will turn to the 4 guards that escorted me. If you gentlemen will wait right here, I will be back momentarily. And I will turn and leave with
they put a hand on your shoulder. Yeah, you go to leave and they put like a hand on your shoulder and say,
"Oh, the look that they will get."
Yeah,
they do. It's very clearly a, "Do you want to keep this?" From the 3'4" lady going.
Yeah, the 3'4" halfling looks up and is like, "Oh, like I'm gonna murder you for this." And they just kind of, in their full plate, just like look down at you. Or these guys. No, these guys are more sort of like city guards, so they're like in chainmail with like helms, and they kind of look down at you, just sort of like stone cold, and they're like, "We need to see this patient that you mean to attend to now, and then you need to come with us. If there is no patient, you'll come with us immediately."
"You will not put your hands on a member of House Jarosco and impede a doctor in her duties. I can have you go fetch your supervisor." And I can escalate this into a much more significant diplomatic issue. And I am happy to do that. Or you can let me tend to my patient in confidence, and I will be right back. At which point, if they pause for more than a heartbeat, I will turn and go, "Please, can you get me the paperwork to announce an incident that needs to be attended? These gentlemen are..." And I'll pause on the R to see if they're going to react.
Yeah. So just to be clear from your perspective, Elizabeth, you don't have diplomatic immunity as a member of House Jarosco.
I'm aware, but impeding a member of the house. I feel like there's a degree of, okay, we were told to do this, but how much authority do they have?
These guys, like, to be clear, there was like the perception there was a royal assassination attempt.
I understand.
They don't give a fuck about your like I gotta go. Like they're like, especially these guys, because they're like, if I bring in the person who tried to assassinate whatever, I'm gonna look real fucking good. So yeah, there's a pause where they're maybe a little like taken aback, and they kind of like look at each other. And I'll tell you what, make me an intimidation.
That'll be a nat 20 or a 19. Take your flavor.
Okay, fantastic. I think so they all kind of look at each other like they like kind of look at each other. You definitely stir uncertainty within them. But they say, okay, calm down. We will come with you and leave you in confidence of your patient once you reach whatever room that is. But we will not be leaving line of sight. You're not getting out of this.
Okay. And I will head to the smallest treatment room that we have.
Okay.
As far as size is
concerned.
I don't care if there's anybody into it. I'm hoping that it's empty. Is what I'm hoping for.
You go to what you recall to be like the smallest possible whatever room, and you open the door. One of them like puts their hand on the door and like looks inside and sees there's nobody inside. Goes, where's the patient?
They'll be coming. I'm having Oscar bring them. That way I have a small space. You can't be concerned. If you want to search the room, by all means, go ahead.
One of them, yeah, they'll take it. They'll nod to the other guy, and like two guys go into this very tight space, and they kind of look around, open some cupboards or whatever, and then leave. They don't find anything other than medical supplies. And he'll say, if this patient isn't here in 20 minutes, you're coming with us. And then they close the door and just kind of like stand outside the examination.
Are they all posted up close together?
Fairly close together, yes.
In that case, I will cast sleep.
Okay, cast sleep. This is gonna go great for you guys. Oh man. Let's see here. Go ahead and roll.
Actually, nowadays it is a save on their end, and it's just a save.
Shit.
It isn't hit point bound anymore.
Wow, they made it not complete garbage. That's cool.
Yes.
What's the saving throw?
Save is Wiz 14.
Okay.
Each creature of your choice within a 5-foot radius sphere centered on a point within range. My point on picking the smallest room was to focus them into that.
Okay.
Into that bundle space.
So two guys came in to look. Two of the four came in to like look around that room.
And I'm hoping that when they're coming back and the other two guys are posted up at the door, that's the spot when I can get them all inside the bubble.
I'm gonna roll just like a simple luck check to see if you manage them, because they're not like, because a 5-foot sphere is very small. That's like we're all right next to each other.
That's why I was planning on small room and the doorway.
Got it. There is one that's going to be tricky. I'm going to say there is one that won't get in the radius if you attempt this.
That's fine.
Okay. So they all go in and inspect, are looking through cupboards. The one's like looking at you a little impatiently, and you cast sleep, and all three of them just like fall to the floor. All three of them. The fourth one, roll initiative.
19.
19. He also rolled a 19. What's your dex?
Dex is 13.
Dex is a 13. You will go first. Shit. Okay, give me a sec. um, uh, the carry? Let's see if I can find a quick board for us to utilize here. Doctor. No medical. What the fuck? Room. No room. No room. Okay, I'll tell you what. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start the screen share. This is, whew, this is crazy. All right, let me see what we can do here. But I can't build. So you need a tiny little room. Bear with me here. I'm gonna build it. It's gonna take 2 seconds. Give me those floors. Give me those marble floors. Doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. So yeah, tiny little examination room. I was a little unprepared. I apologize. Yeah, here we go.
It's the DM PC issue. What do you mean you go left? Everything is on that side.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is crazy. We're just gonna theater of minds. Okay. So yeah, it's a tight room. Where would you have positioned yourself in the room? Like, so we're gonna say it's like,
I would the picture in my head is I figured one or probably two of them would have gone into the room to search it. I would be outside that space with the other two doing the loom over you. And when those two got back to the door, would be my opportunity to try to take all four of them.
okay, got it. So we'll say like the one guy stand at the door, the guy who looked around, you're like, by all means, check the room. The two of them go into the room, and then as they're exiting, that's when you pop them. So there's like a pile of guards in the doorway, and you're in like the hallway. And that guy like points a spear at your face. What do you do?
I'm gonna cast sleep again.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
I'm not sure you can.
That is a 10, and he just falls to the floor. Is this concentration?
It's concentration.
Oh, is sleep concentration now? Oh, it is.
That's the trade-off.
Oh, well, in that case, I will break out the brand new thing. And charm person isn't gonna work. It'll be command.
Okay, you're gonna use command. What is the command?
Sleep.
Just to be clear, have you ever tried to fall asleep in 6 seconds?
All he has to do is fall unconscious, and I'm gonna leave.
So is it charm person?
He'll attempt to start trying to fall asleep, but he most probably won't.
Well, there's one that collapse, or I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, I know that. Basically, he's going to fall to the ground. He's going to end his turn. That's what's going to happen. So in that moment, you're like, so you say like, sleep, and he sort of against his own will, he's like, why are and if you just stand there, so there's no opportunity to attack, he will on his turn fall to the floor.
At which point it will be goodbye. It's time to go.
Adios. Okay, you take off down the hall. What are you doing?
I'm headed to. I need to break line of sight and then like dip, duck, dive into into someplace. I'm headed for the teaching wing.
Got it. You're trying to find out.
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy. Okay, you break the line of sight. You run around the corner. This is a pretty decent citadel. You go running through the halls. You make it to the training center where you see a couple of people are like, like in the surgeries and like working on like cadavers and so on and so forth. And Otto's there, and he's inclined to be there every now and then, sort of like prospecting new talent kind of thing. He looks a little bored. He isn't terribly amused by what he's seeing, and you charge in. Goes, Elizabeth, do you have fun at the party?
There's a lot. I'm being arrested.
Oh,
I'm going to need help.
okay. Why?
The ship imploded.
Oh,
The Queen was on board.
yeah.
It's complicated.
I see that. So, what do you want me to do about it?
I'm going to need someone to make the arrangements to get me out because I am going to be taken in. I had nothing to do with it.
Got it. Okay.
But
right. So, yes. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to, if you are right and you didn't do anything, you're going to be arrested, and I will be sure to inform the necessary people on House Drosko on your behalf. It will not stand.
at which point I will look at him and point to the house mark on my right cheek and then point to the one on the opposite side.
Oh.
Complicated.
Very interesting, my friend. What is that say? Have you developed a new form of the rascal mark?
I don't have enough information, and I have not had time to investigate it.
Well, I shall say this will probably help your getting you out of there. I'm sure House Drosko will very much like to know what that is on your face there, my friend. How long does this? How long before they come for you? How long?
Well,
probably right about now, huh?
The question is how quickly they come to.
Well, the one guy, he only had to fall over. So suddenly four dudes, you're like, yeah, so it's pretty complicated. Like, okay, I appreciate it, Otto. Like, it was good. 4 guys come flying in and just fucking body you to the ground. These 4 dudes just come charging in, fucking dog pile on top of you. Maddeningly, fucking manacle your hands and arm, or your hands behind your back, and they like put a thing around your mouth so you can't form verbal components. They do the whole fucking 9 yards. They read you your rights and pick you, like probably actually pick you up between the 4 of them and haul you out like picked up, and start hauling you out.
At least I don't have to walk.
I guess you don't have to walk. Definitely people are watching. Like some of the new heirs are, some of the more senior people are like, oh, what's going on? Some of the new heirs are like, cool. And they're like, don't stop that. And yeah, Otto's like, don't worry, my friend, you won't be in there for too long if I have anything to say about it. We need to have this mark looked at. Very interesting stuff. And Otto sort of just like cries reassurances to you as you are hauled away. Oh boy, now for the complicated one. Well, that ended up being a little more exciting than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, you got Otto on the case, which is good. He's definitely got your back. Okay, Zolly. I've been working very hard over here to try and get a map made for you, because this is going to be very dynamic.
Oh, delightful.
So I'm going to screen share here. So these are just minis that I'm going to start placing in a minute, but I haven't had a ton of time. I had to eat dinner on my break. But basically this is the building, and that is, we're going to call that very accurate to where you were this morning. You rolled very well in stealth. It is also worth noting that for all of you guys who left and kind of went wandering down the street, there, like, airships are out. There are more militarily like vessels out. shooting like magical lights down, very very like spotlight from the Zeppelin kind of appearance a little bit, which you have avoided expertly, Zolly. In this moment, there are like the building is lit up, like the grounds around the building is lit up. It's going to be very difficult to make an approach. You rolled very well, but if you are seen plain as day, that still will catch you. So you want to break in. There are does like the place is crawling with guards. How do you intend to go about this?
Well, that depends a little bit on the answer to the next question. Because Zolly can sense the direction of the pen. This close, you should, with that, be able to kind of know what floor it's on.
Yeah, it's the first floor. You're certain it's on the first floor.
Okay. Well, that works. That works. A little less fun option then. I'm assuming the front entrance is very heavily guarded.
Very heavily guarded. As I said, there are essentially like daylight spells have been cast around the perimeter of the building.
Oh, okay, interesting. And then what do the sides of the building look like in terms of guard presence? You said it's well lit still. But are there like oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they have like 4 guards to a door. They have guards who are actually like patrolling the perimeter of like the nearby streets and like the edges of the daylight spell. So like this is sort of in what you can imagine here is that in their mind this is the scene of the crime and they're waiting for someone to return to it.
Okay.
So they're casting a very wide net of guards around this place. This is probably one of the most heavily fortified places in Fairhaven right now.
Okay, and how high up are the windows?
Windows are tall. It would be these guys up here. 30 feet up.
Okay. And this is still in the middle of the city, right? So they're still like they're screening people. I'm assuming they're having to do checkpoints and like talk to people. There's visual clutter around still, right?
Yeah, they've set up checkpoints, but in this lockdown situation, like there isn't a ton of civilians. Like the idea is like go inside your houses and stay there. And if you're seen out in the street, chances are you'll be arrested.
And are there adjoining buildings at all?
There are no adjoining buildings.
Okay. Would it be possible for Zolly to get within 30 feet of the building without getting immediately noticed? Is there enough cover? We're in a dock, so I'm assuming there's still cargo and things of that nature that can be moved around.
I'm going to go find out for you. By the nature of this being an airship thing, everything like doesn't need to be stored on the street. It would be stored inside the building itself. So, and anything that would be passed on to like an Orion vessel or vehicle, for example, would be moved from outside to inside. And at this late time of night, they're not leaving merchandise on the side of the street. So there's no boxes sort of like on the side of the street. Let's see here. Daylight, 60-foot radius sphere. So no. Unfortunately.
So to confirm, it's a building in a blank space with no cover that's well lit and 60 feet in all directions.
Not exactly 60 feet because they're not like they haven't just thrown out a million spells, but they've got their corners covered.
Okay. And are there any? And there's no spaces of shadow or dim light whatsoever.
Not on the approach. Your best bet would be some form of invisibility or teleportation of some kind. Like I said, this place is on lockdown. They're probably expecting someone of a greater skill level than yourself.
Yeah, of course. Are there any people in the street around that are not guards?
No, definitely not near this building. You get the sense anyone of a sort of rebellious, roguish nature probably would have looked at this, turned the other way, and walked away.
Okay. Zolly's going to take a very close note of the direction of the pen and kind of the location they're in, because she's probably going to have to drop concentration on locate object here.
Right.
Following that, I'm going to take a quick second to ponder my options here, because
Yeah, it's tough. Sorry.
Mhm. Um,
In a highly magical world, they are prepared for magical folks.
yeah, that's fine. She's going to cast. Hmm.
And also, yeah, I'm thinking I'd see that like as you're sitting here, you'd see like maybe like oh no, yeah, no, no, no. You'd see like two of the arcane knights essentially. What are they called? What was their specific name? Um, what are these guys called? Sorry, sorry. Trying to find that tab. Uh, where are you? Knights Arcane. You
No,
would see two of the knights are they're not together, but they're just kind of like wandering around, like kind of in a captainy kind of patrolling kind of way.
Zolly's gonna wait for a bit.
Okay.
How much does she know about the light spell they're using?
Make me an Arcana check.
Already, flatty 20. It's a nat one, so basically nothing.
No, they're magical lights.
It's fine. Um, she's still a caster, so she knows the basics of concentration. She's going to actually hang back for a bit and just scope out the place and get a feel for the patrols and see if there's any point where concentration drops and has to be refreshed on those spells. And if so, she wants to get a feel for who's renewing it, and two, what the duration is on that spell.
Okay. Why don't you make me a perception check just as or an investigation check, your choice, as you're just kind of scoping out.
Yeah.
I'm going to populate the interior when it becomes relevant. So, just as a note.
It's going to be a 21.
21, that's very good. You're going to notice a couple of things. The guards are all patrolling. They kind of wander by. They don't catch you, not from your position. You are. You would notice that the what are they called? What are they called? The Knights Arcane. You would notice that he is, or those two, they have strange wands strapped to their belts. They're essentially Eldritch Knights, very, very clearly. They have these like wands that look a little like intimidating. They're basically like these lengths. They're like lengths of chain with skulls on the end, sort of strapped to their belt. Looks very not good. How long are you willing to wait for?
At least an hour.
At least an hour.
Mm.
Okay. Let's see here. Give me a second.
Yeah. She's Finders Guild. Stakeouts are kind of part and parcel.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. You wait, and you wait, and you wait for quite a while. You stealth very good. You're able to avoid patrols and keep an eye on the building. There will be a point where how long does your locate object go for?
It'll expire some point during this because it only goes about 10 minutes. So she knows like it's in that building on the ground floor, but she is going to let that fade as she's waiting, and she's had to mentally remember where it is.
Understood. It fades.
Yeah, and if it moved at any point during the 10 minutes, she would remember and know.
You are going to see 4 members of the Knights Arcane ride up on horseback. Or actually, no, this is actually really cool. They don't ride up on horseback. I'm pretty sure you'd actually see them like descend from the sky on these really like interesting, like almost reptilian-looking hawks. They give sort of like half pterodactyl, half hawk, sort of things like long tails. They sort of like land the 4 of them with a 5th one. The 5th one is like heavily barded, and you're going to see this gentleman walk out, who is in very decorated heavy armor. What has he got at his side? He's got I'd say he has like this like bag over his shoulder, and he'd like walk over to the barded hawk and what would be known as, I believe they're called dragon hawks, and would fasten it to the side. There would be two more Knight Arcane who walk out and sort of follow him out, and they're talking about something, and then they're talking sort of like heatedly. This one sort of esquire-looking individual sort of comes up and hands something to that who looks like a commander of some kind, and he takes it and he reads it. He looks at him and nods, and he says something to the four who flew down. And he mounts his dragon hawk before takeoff. In together as a unit in some direction, he flies off, sort of like towards the outskirts of the city, and kind of like loops back and sort of disappears into the air. That's the major event that occurs. I'd say at like 30, 40 minutes. At which point, I'd say around like the 15-minute mark, you see one of the lights go down, and a door opens, and you're going to see this very mage-looking individual, very arcane congress-looking individual. He points a wand, and the light goes back up.
Okay.
And he enters the building.
And do the other lights start going down in sequence then and have to be renewed? Like, do they cast them all at once, or is it
No, not all at once. It is that one goes down, you wait about 5 minutes later, next one comes down, another individual comes out and relights that one, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
In 5-minute intervals.
So 5-minute intervals. First one goes down and is renewed. She watches that, watches the second, is going to establish if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. On the third, she's going to be waiting for it to go down, and is literally, because it'll only be about, I'm imagining, a round of time that she would have before it's back up again.
It's also a wide berth. You're hiding, watching the whole scene happen. So it's a matter of chance if you are near the third one when it goes down, right?
She wants to be basically like 61 feet. Basically, at the edge of the light, still in the shadow, still, relatively in cover, but she's going to be waiting to try and rush into the darkness whenever it's there again.
Okay. You wait for you've watched and monitored carefully your house thrash. This is sort of your whole deal. The knights are towards the boundaries, like on the other side where the daylights are, but not anywhere that would trouble you. These guards are patrolling and walking by, and as the light goes down, they have torches, but there's definitely enough darkness cover that you can weave through them with your good stuff. So this goes down. I'm going to put this over here for a moment.
And torches are 15-15, if memory serves?
Yeah, so they got like a 30-foot situation.
That's perfect. So 30-foot movement inwards into the darkness before it's recast. Then bonus action, I'm going to cast the jump spell.
Okay.
Action, I'm going to dash and use 10 feet of my movement to jump 30 feet with the jump spell, the new version, to actually clear up vertical to the windowsill that's 30 feet up.
Very impressive. Yeah, you vault up and you find your way to that upper window, which would lead immediately to the second floor. And you do so before that mage comes in and relights the daylight. You manage to make a clean infiltration. You don't know what's on the second floor as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go take a look at the space and see what you can expect. Actually, I will say that there's not much. Yeah, that's not true. There'd be a very mild guard on the second floor, just sort of keeping a loose patrol of the area. Essentially, you see a lot of boxes. This is more of a cargo area that you would have seen when you made your way up with Baron. You wouldn't have been allowed to enter into here. There would have been essentially a red velvet sort of rope to block it, but it's not there anymore. Okay, you make it into the thing here. You hop behind some boxes before the daylight relights the window. You are on the second floor. You've made it. What is your plan?
Alrighty. In that case, so there's a light guard of patrols. Zali's going to, if she can get a clear window of opportunity, going to basically leap again on the next round into the stairwell, and then begin moving down the stairs.
Okay, you find a clean window. It's not very hard to do. Barely requires a jump. You could if you wished. And you make your way down the steps.
All right.
To where you're going to get to here, in which it is very populated down here. In fact,
Yeah.
It looks to be almost a bit of like I'll say like a command center for all intents and purposes, where like there's just guards everywhere. There's like at least 4 mages of the Arcane Congress. There is like 6 of the Knights Arcane. There is like a guard stationed at the stairwell. There's a number of guards behind. There's like a Knights Arcane captain. I don't know why he's there, but yeah, it's highly populated down here, and the desks have been sort of transformed from like a Lyrand outpost to a guard post, essentially.
Okay. So did Zali, where would the pen have been roughly?
Make me maybe an investigation check, or
Perception.
I don't think it's perception's based on like, this is kind of almost like a triangulation thing because you know where it is in your brain. I think this would be more like a logistical thing. So I'm gonna say investigation, or I'll give you insight.
Could even be survival if it's triangulation and navigation.
Survival's more about like, I guess
Whatever you want me to roll, I'll go with it, of course.
This is less. I think this is gonna be. I'll give you survival, sure.
Okay.
This is something that you would do, kind of like a guesstimating location.
It's 26.
26. Very, very good. Cool. I'm just gonna check something here really quick.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, you're pretty, you like mark what window it is with your mind, and you think you know which way to go. You look over and you see like a series of like papers on that desk, but no sign of a pen of any kind.
Okay, so it might have been moved whenever that pouch was delivered. Are the other checked-in goods present? Like what people actually gave whenever they were heading onto the ship, such as always equipment and everything else?
What was the question? Sorry?
Would Zali's equipment also be present? Like, are they just doing a full inventory of what all was checked in at docking, along with the items and various equipment, or what all is actually here beyond documentation?
They would have just a very sort of like fancy ass. They would have just like taken it to, and like they wouldn't have like, they would have told you like basically the coat room, but you don't know where that is.
Okay.
So that could be somewhere on the 3rd floor. That could be down here on the 1st floor. You don't know where your stuff is. Like that was supposed to be given back to you at the dock.
Okay. And the space I'm
Very
at
valid.
currently is relatively safe. No one's like immediately looking up and down the stairwell, right?
This is not terribly safe at all. There's no railing. You're
Okay.
pretty exposed. You're like, you're at the top of the stairs, sort of like peeking down. If anyone happened to glance in this direction, the only reason why I'm saying they haven't got you is because you rolled so substantially.
Yeah.
But it is a limited time before they come and find you.
Okay.
At least in this particular position. The stairs do not provide great cover.
Yeah. So I was gonna head back up the stairs and see if she can get back to cover behind some of those various crates and boxes.
Okay, I'm gonna require a check here. Let's
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah, she's mindful of the patrols, but I'm sure
Let's
that's
call it
hard to keep
perception
track of.
or insight to pick your moment.
Yeah. Perception. That's a 22.
22, rolling fantastically. You're very much caught between like they could see me, and just like by probably literally sheer luck, you managed to get around. You just start given a perfect window, and you manage to scurry back behind some boxes.
Cool. And how many stories up is this building?
This is all the way to like the top deck where you would board the actual airship. It's it's four floors.
Okay.
Or maybe it's 4 floors, not including the sort of like crane at the top that you would have seen.
Got it. And there's like 2 guards on this floor, is that right?
Sorry, 5 floors, including the air deck. There are 2 guards on this deck currently.
Okay. I'm gonna use my last not free spell slot to use another casting of Elevated Sight.
Okay.
And it can be any point within 120 feet above me, and it is not a point I can see. It is just a point. So I'm actually going to start manually raising it up through the different floors of the building to map it out.
Okay. I'll just show you the different floors. On this floor, it's going to be, it's a little bit of a wider space, so they're going to have 3 guards up there.
Okay.
They all got torches. As it's a little dim out here, it's just more cargo space. And they all do seem to be quite diligent. Everyone here, like, there's no like sleeping on duty here. Like, everyone seems to be really pulling their weight. And then you get to the top. Oh, nope. There's a 5th floor, which is a little fancier. Still cargo space, but probably for like more wealthy people like yourself. And then there's the 5th floor, which you have seen very easily. In which I think up here there would be quite a few individuals up on the actual top deck.
Okay. So, in that case, during my turn, I can swap my senses between the sensor and my own senses at any point with no action, and then adjusting the height is a bonus action. So Zolly's going to begin moving up towards the higher end checked goods section. So she has to climb up floor by floor, but as she does this, she's going to be raising the sensor up to the next floor, and then basically bouncing her sight between that and then her own eyes to make sure she's not walking into another patrol on the way up. She's basically timing each ascent of the stair floor by floor.
Got it. And you're able to make your way up easy enough. Up until the last floor, where you see that there is definitely a guard that's posted between the actual, like, air deck and then this cargo space, and he's just kind of like posted up there, a little more casual. Like, he's watching, but he's a little more casual, a little more bored. While these guys are looking out windows, looking around the goods. Which is actually a point. They are going through crates and barrels. Like, they are looking through everything. Like, there's no stone unturned here. Like, you're seeing that, like, cargo's being opened. I'd say on the actual top floor, that's when you get apparent that your stuff is probably here, as they're going through these, like, lock boxes. They're, like, shoving crowbars and, like, smashing the locks off and, like, opening up and going through, like, the personal effects of whoever was on board that night.
Okay.
And as they're doing that, there would be a night arcane there supervising that, especially. So there's 2 guys going through the personal effects of everyone who was on board, and a night arcane who is kind of keeping an eye on them and the whole process as well.
Okay. Can Zolly see where her bag might be?
They're all in. I'm gonna roll a check for you. It seems that they've already gone through your stuff, and it is sort of like sitting loosely in an open crate.
Okay. And
like, your stuff is all like generally near the bag, but they didn't like carefully put it back inside. It's kind of like just left out and open, like evidence that's been looked through, but still there to be rummaged through a second time.
Okay. And is that under direct
No.
authorization or observation, or is it
No,
out
it's
of the
not
way
under
somewhere?
direct. It's a little off. It's a little off to the side.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, everything's been generally put on one table, but they're not like looking at it actively.
Delightful. So two last things. One point, she's gonna bounce the sensor up to I guess the next floor up would be the proper roof of the dock, and see what the conditions are like there.
You see more of these. I'm going to use basically wyvern minis to demonstrate it, but you see more of these dragon hawks up there, just sort of like sitting around. You see people like flying in and taking off, and uh, like apparently using this as like a pretty intense messaging system. You see lots of the Night Arcane there, and you would also see one or two people you don't recognize. They're like they're dressed in like you just don't know what their deal is. They're like you can't tell. They look like mages. Maybe they do have arcane foci on them. So they're definitely mages, but they don't seem to be affiliated with anyone that you would recognize. They're not dressed like the Arcane Congress, like the guys downstairs. They're kind of like standing together, like three of them. They're in like dark clothing, and they're just like standing there quietly. Some of them are murmuring to themselves, and others are just and like one will walk up to one of the Knights Arcane and say something and walk back to the group of three.
And they don't have any notable insignia or badges or anything of the like.
Okay. Like that.
Any dragon marks?
Anomalies. No dragon marks, not as far as you can tell.
Huh. Okay. Intriguing. And is the dock itself also well lit?
The dock itself is very well lit, yes.
Okay. And are there any airships coming in to still dock and move? Because you mentioned this is like the central dock for Fairhaven, right?
Yeah, there's none. At the time, there would have been like two other airships that were docked. They're not docked right now. It's all hands on deck. They're flying around Fairhaven trying to find whatever.
Got it. Okay. In that case, I think Zolly's going to steal up towards that kind of corner that's been set aside and isn't currently being observed. Just trying to retrieve her equipment first off.
Okay, you go over there. You manage to maybe a sleight of hand check, because you're kind of this is a bit of close quarters here, and it is scattered around. It's not all packed up.
Of course. Whew, not great. That's going to be a 7.
A 7. That is very unfortunate. You like go to start like putting things into your bag, and your elbow just painfully just like hits something from the next bag over, and this like it's like a pin or something just like falls off, and it's that Mission Impossible moment of slow motion where you're like fuck, and it ding 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 ding, ding like hits the marble below. The guard turns around and sees you and is like shocked for a moment, and will like basically yell and be like intruder, like at the top of his lungs. What do you do?
I really would like to have my stuff back.
You like got your stuff in front of you. It's not like on your back.
Yeah.
If
I have the duffel, I'm fine with that. Okay. Yeah.
I guess the very simple thing here is: are you surrendering, or do you intend to fight or flight?
I'm gonna fucking book it.
Okay, let's roll some initiative.
Okay. So 21.
Everyone's very good. Let's see how they do. Yeah, you're like right beside him as you're getting your stuff. These two guys turn to look at you. Very, very good. Guards do not roll as good as you, so they're there. Let's see how the Knight Arcane did. I gotta grab his block real quick. Hang on. Who got it? Sorry.
You're fine.
All right, let's take a look. So, all right. Yeah, we're gonna be hard with that. Nope, you definitely beat the Eldridge Knights initiative as well. Where are you? Get on there. Okay, cool. He rolls higher than the watch, and we're gonna put on some. Oh no, music. Okay, so you are in melee zone here with this like one guard who is. He doesn't have anything like. I think he'd like draw a sword in that moment. But otherwise, like he doesn't have a shield, he doesn't have a spear. He's just got like this like. Yeah, he has this like long sword out. What do you do?
Okay, well, I had my bag, and I'm assuming the weapons would be the most accessible parts of that.
Yeah, most certainly. If you wanted to draw a weapon out of what is like laying there, yeah, you could. Like you get one as a free action.
Okay.
I'll say you were like stuffing things in your bag to like get it prepped to go. So you're standing there and you got your bag here. It's half filled with stuff, and your weapons kind of laying there around it. Your armor's like already in. I'll say like you got your armor in the bag.
Okay. Follow-up question. You mentioned there are dragon hawks that are roosting up above, and those are notable in Ondair as like riding mounts, correct?
Yes, they are. The answer is yes.
Okay. In that case, I'm not even going to try and like hit this guy. I'm just gonna let the confusion keep him confused for a bit. And this is more flavor than anything. Zolly's just like pulling off the heavy fur mantle that she's been wearing and just throws it like a smoke screen in front of her, and then just runs up the stairs.
All right. Got it. You start running. What's your speed?
It should just be a 30. Let me double check.
30.
I'm assuming he might be surprised. I don't know if surprised creatures get reactions or not.
This isn't a surprise moment. You haven't like came out of the blue and struck him. You were caught in the middle of his stealth, so he's ready to go.
Okay.
What's the verdict there for?
Yeah, just 30.
Just 30. Okay. You're dashing, I assume.
Yes.
Gold-tet.
And I'm running up towards where one of the dragon hawks was.
Got it. Okay, so there's going to be an opportunity attack.
That's fine.
Of course. That is going to be a. Where are you? That's going to be a 16.
Yeah, that'll absolutely hit me.
Slashes you across the back for a hot 2 points of damage.
Okay.
Just kind of nicks you.
It's now a back distress.
Yep. You run up. You get there to like 30 dashing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You get up to and you got 10 left. You get to here. Kind of leaving a lot of that behind. Oh boy, fella. Is there anything else?
I don't think I have any bonus actions I can do right now. So I think that'll be it.
Okay. Alrighty then. Okay, so for the arcane knights, they hear the yell of intruder. I guess we'll put these guys. They're not actually gonna fight. Man, there should be some normal guards up here. I'll do that. There's like a presence of guards. I don't know what they're doing. They're probably going through shit, what they're going through. Yeah, sorry. Just gotta. I hate to populate on the in the middle of everything, but caught off guard a little bit. Okay, you get to there.
Yeah. Worth she would know roughly where everyone on that upper dock is.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah.
So these guys are all gonna like run for, like, look over, and what you see, two of the. Actually, I think all of them actually just get to here. This one's gonna just go 30 feet this way and hold an action. These three all pull those wands out with the chains on the end. Mm-hmm. And they're all gonna say halt as they point at you. I need you to make 3 wisdom saving throws, please.
Okay. I think I fail. That's an 8.
Okay. First one points, and a whole person goes off, and you are suddenly stuck, unable to move. Yeah, this the other guys will just kind of, they don't actually let their spells off, but they're going to hold the wands pointedly in your direction. This guy doesn't know what's going on, so he's just going to dash after. He doesn't know that you got caught up in that. He gets to about here because he had to climb up. Those are those guys. The guards all close in. Let's see here. Yeah, these guys were watching the crane. This guy was watching the door. So this guy will turn, and this guy will turn, and they're gonna that one's like 10. So these guys are just gonna dash up to you essentially, and they're gonna take their full dash movement right up to you. These guys just take a moment to grab their stuff and kind of make their way over to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could start. I think these guys are just going to grab their stuff and just be ready. They don't know what's going on. These guys are close to the thing. He will grab his stuff and get to the thing there. He'll move with his buddy. These guys are like just interested in what's going on. And that'll kind of be that. Those guys downstairs are gonna arm up with their actions and come after you. This one manages to get to here. This one's gonna dash action, just kind of like get up to there, and that'll be that.
Okay.
Okay. I need a wisdom saving throw. See if you can break the whole person on yourself.
Alrighty. That's a 21.
21 is that will loose, and you break free. These two guys are that guy's gonna let off his held action, make me another wisdom saving throw.
Okay. I'm going to assume that this is going to keep on happening, so I can just say that y'all take me captive if you like. We don't have to go through it for a chain of saves and fails and saves and fails. Understood.
Yeah, they go through a chain of casting these spells at you. They come upon you, manacle you up, same thing, bind you, and put a bag over your head, and you are away. Same with Elizabeth. I think there's going to be a point where, by the power of whatever spell is available, probably sleep spell. They don't care too much about that. You get sort of thrown in the back of a cart and wheeled off somewhere. You're not terribly sure where. And we're gonna pick up with Zalia later, in which we will come to the end of our long rest. Elizabeth and Zalia, unfortunately, will not receive a long rest, but the rest of you will. So go ahead and hit the button.
Ludwig wakes up in his hotel room. What a lovely evening. Except for like that other stuff that happened last night. But other than that, I had a lovely evening. I had a lovely nap. Wonder how the others are doing.
Absolutely.
I imagine Holden or Rowan slept very well because it just had this single red eye.
Yeah.
The corner of the room.
I know what's his name was definitely like closes his door and locks the door. Holden's buddy. Yes, Rowan.
I just sent you a query. Would you please look at that and let me know?
Sure. Yeah, you're fine. You could do like a bill of credit if you wanted.
Exactly what I thought.
Yeah, you got a checkbook, basically, uncle's money. Um, okay. Yeah, you guys all wake up. Definitely leaving this sort of moody aftermath music behind. As Ondair is very alive the next day. People are out in the streets again. People wandering about town. There's a energy in the city of question and suspicion. And as you come downstairs, there's lots of people sitting around the tavern talking about the events of last night. What would any of the four of you like to do?
I would, not coming out of my room yet. I would try and bribe one of the hotel workers to, if I don't have a scarf on me, I would try to bribe one of the hotel workers to go buy me one.
To buy you what?
A scarf to like hide the dragon mark.
Okay. You go up there. You say like, "Hey, go out and buy me a scarf." How much money do you give him?
Um, I'd say like 10 gold pieces sounds good enough.
Jesus, yeah, that'll do. And he'll say, "Of course, Mr. Drugger," and he will
Traeger. Whatever.
ear to right.
What?
And
Just
he'll-
go, please.
Yeah, he'll turn around, he'll go, and he comes back shortly after with Jesus. That's loud. Sorry, guys. He'll come back with a scarf, like minutes later from some place around,
Thank
like maybe his.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day. And then I
right.
leave to go get breakfast after putting the scarf on.
Okay, head downstairs, put the scarf on. The inn that you're the very fancy inn that you're staying at. And I can give you a name if you want. I just need a minute to look at it. But yeah, you're gonna get a very. Okay. Here you are. You are located in the Queen's Kiss. This
Queen's
is
Kiss.
a very luxurious, very expensive inn, located in the sovereign ward of the city, like right in the heart of the city where the castle would be. It is for nobles and diplomats and wealthy travelers and no one else. So you're living in a very aristocratic situation, a little better than last.
I'm weirdly I have much better accommodations than other people, but I'm also weirdly frugal with my money than the other guests.
Yeah, you go downstairs and you like look at the menu. You're like, "Oh, I'll have a black coffee." And you're like, "Oh, okay, sure."
Yes, black and waffles.
Yeah, the room is like a buzz. Like people are just talking and talking, like about what you don't necessarily know. Yes.
Once I finish,
I was just gonna say the Cronenberg hasn't come out with an edition today. Today isn't one of them days. So what do you want to do?
I listen into first of all, I listen to what the what the gossip is.
Okay. Interesting. Make me a let's see here. Be a little more finicky about this in this game because this is you just hear people like talking, gossiping about like I heard there's some attacks. There seems to be a lot of speculation about what's going on. You're not like, and you're certainly not close enough to like really like eavesdrop. Like if people are gossiping, they're talking lowly. So if you wanted to get in on gossip, you have to make some friends and you have to talk to them, or be like right in their face stealthily. Because when people are talking, they're like, "I know," and they kind of like lean in and go quiet. So Unfortunately, you can't eavesdrop gossip out of this place.
Okay.
There will be a gossip phase next session that is going to be very full of gossip. And you'll say in this moment you are gathering that gossip for next session. But essentially, you get the general thing that you gather here is that people are aware that there was a lockdown last night. It had something to do with like an airship attack. People speculate anything from assassination to terrorism to you don't get anything solid. You don't get like a solid what's the most popular thing in the room right now.
Well, if the Chronicle hasn't come out yet in the morning, I would also make my way to the House of Scribbling.
Got it.
Because I'm going to send an update to my father.
Got it. So I'm actually going to move from you, Ludwig, because the things you want to do are going to be heavily involved with our first two phases of our game, usually, which is gossip and the epistolary phase, which would be very what you're up to. So we're gonna hop over to someone else because you're gonna get all that stuff, and we have limited time anyway. So
okay, go ahead.
So I'll put that forth to anybody. Does anybody have anything they want to do this morning that doesn't? Because you're all gonna get it. You're all gonna get time to do this at the beginning of next session. Does anyone have anything to do that isn't epistolary or gossip based? Okay.
So there was
sure, Cross. Why don't you go?
I think what I want to do is go back to where I was originally staying, but didn't get back to, just to retrieve like my regular clothes.
Got it. You start making your way back in that direction. Okay. I'm gonna be very specific because there's some information that might come about by just being out in the city. So
okay.
I'm gonna swap around and be very specific about what's going on. Holden and Rowan, I saw hands. What are you up to?
I'll defer to Holden.
Okay.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I think you're good.
So, what'll happen? Like, we all go to sleep in the same room as like all the four of us, just like.
No, again, it's a suite. So there is a common, like, very fancy quarters, but you would all have your separate rooms attached to that common quarters. So there's privacy, essentially.
Okay. I don't know if I need to make an insight check for. You know what? No, I'm gonna roll with it, and if you feel like I need to make an insight check for it, I will. Okay. I assume there's some sort of common room. Is there, like, in the suite, not in the world, but in the suite, like a place we could have been gathering?
Yeah. Let me be very specific about what the room looks like. So this is you walking into the room from the common hallway of the inn. You open the door, and there is like a common room that has like a small kitchen area. It has like a seating area in front of a fireplace. There's like a little drink cart off to the side. At the back of the room, there's a number of doors. And those doors all lead to like a private, smaller, but still luxurious quarters.
Is there anything I can make? Can I alter my shift weave? Can I cast spells? Is there anything in this room I can make tinker's tools out of so I can fix my shift weave?
There is not
anything
in this room.
This
is like a hotel room.
No, that's fine. So in that case, but there's food?
There's food.
Cool. She's going to sit and nibble until Holden comes in the room.
Oh. Okay.
So she's eventually going to come in the fucking room.
You nibble, Holden, you come out.
Right. Yeah, I mean, first he'll try to pull, I guess, doesn't matter, but I'll get that out of the way. First he'll try and pull Pestle aside, and he'll be like, okay, out the window, it looks as if things are back to normal, so I don't necessarily have anything else for you immediately, but like I said, we will be trying to figure out if we can't track down who the folks were that were working staff on the airship that night, where they may have come from, anybody that might be lingering about, anybody that maybe was supposed to work that didn't, that kind of thing. So just if you hear anything, let me know. Other than that,
I'm going to go head up, put my ear to the grindstone, for sure.
sounds fantastic. Other than that, really, today, it looks like I'm going to be staying in town for the moment. So I'll need to go about and, pick up the things one needs for everyday life in our profession.
All right, I'm gonna go take a look around, see what I can find out about our previous associates and what the news is. I'll catch up with you.
Yeah, see you when I
And
see you. Good luck out there.
yeah, and good luck in here. And he'll take off, and he'll like toss a bagel or some fancy scone in his mouth and kind of give you a little nod rote on the way out. At which point you two may speak.
Ah, Mr. Kenneth. Good morning.
Could I get you to call me Rowan?
Certainly. Whatever you like.
Thanks. You strike me as someone who can acquire things. Am I correct?
Well, to be perfectly honest, it's been a while since I've been in Fairhaven, so my connections aren't what they always were, but
I
Pestil's
need an
helpful.
alchemist's kit. We need an
Alchemist.
alchemist's kit and an arcane focus.
It does just so happen that I know exactly where to go about finding an alchemist's kit. The arcane focus I'll have to look a little bit more pointedly for. Is there a specific type?
Hold on. I'm sorry. Above the table. I'm sorry. I need tinker's tools. So apologize for that. I just realized what I needed.
Tinker's tools instead of the
instead of the alchemist kit. I'm so sorry. No, it's tinker's tools that she needs.
I'm after something similar myself, so I'll pick some up for you on the way. Are you not going home?
Eventually.
As you like. Anything else I can do for you?
No. But I thank you for that. Thank you.
Do you intend to stay here in the room for the time being?
Until I have those things, yeah.
Interesting decision. I respect that. I'll be back with your tinker's tools.
And the focus.
Yeah, and the focus. Yes, I'm sorry. Any particular type?
Anything an artificer can use.
Got it. I will see what I can do.
So that is going to bring us to what Holden and who else headed out? Cross. So Cross, you kind of headed out to do what you were going to do. Holden, you head out to do what you're going to do. The streets are filled with people going here or there, talking about what's there to talk about. The Cronenberg Chronicle is, we're gonna get one next week. So we'll say that everybody's like got Cronenberg Chronicles out and are reading them. There is basically like a large image of like a crashing airship on the front. More like a sketch than an actual like. It's actually like a very well. You're like that didn't happen, but it looks like a very like expert, as if it was like a photograph almost on the front and we'll get to the headline because I haven't decided what it is. I still have to make that.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, the humanity. Yeah, something like that. And there's other things that you're going to see, which is surprising. Is I think this is actually kind of fun. Oh, are they going to do this? Yeah, they're going to. You are going to see. If you like pick up one Cross or Holden, you're going to see Ludwig, Holden, Cross, and Rowan's pictures on the front of the Cronenberg Chronicle, basically saying like in the on the top saying, and with a number of other faces to be clear, like you guys are on top, but there's like on the inner pages there are more faces. Like, it seems like the whole Cronenberg Chronicles is just, like, all about this event, and that's it. There's no sign of Elizabeth. or Zolly's face in there, but you four are presented as like the top, like wanted in suspicion of the attack.
Oh no.
Fuck.
And that's where we're gonna end this.
And they have our names, I imagine.
They don't have your names actually. It's just faces. Actually, they've got Rowan's name because she was on. She was on
Sure.
the
Everybody's got
paper
Rowan's name.
yesterday.
Made
was like
back to back.
Sorry.
We made back-to-back editions. Well done, Rowan.
Oh my god! Impressive, Rowan. I gotta ask, like, if we all see this,
So
so
you catch it too, like in the dining room. You're like sitting there, and kind of some guy like flips the page over in his chronicle, and you just like see like almost mugshot-esque like your face there. Like,
how did I get that? Like I bury my face in my scarf and like finish my food and I leave. Like
you run to your room. Yeah. Okay. We'll end the session there. It seems that you've all been identified, wanted in suspicion with the attack. But again, Zolly and Liz are not presented in those four faces, and that's just the front page. That's like the front page is just plastered with like attack, wanted in suspicion. Things are blowing up. That is where we will end the session there. It's going to be a very interesting next session. It's going to be cool. It's going to be good.
Hey, Ryan.
yes.
Yeah.
My intention is to try to. I haven't used any items yet whatsoever. Didn't carry anything with me into the airship to hand over. My intention is to try and piece together either from what I brought with me or from purchases in town, the stuff to fill out my inventory like I would have started the game with.
Right.
Is there? You want to take a look?
I don't know why you wouldn't know.
Okay.
I was just gonna say I don't know why you wouldn't already have that stuff, like it's stashed away somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I just wanted to be fair about the fact that like I didn't present weapons coming onto the airship.
Yeah, we'll say that you like left your
if
bag with Basil, and he just like gave you your shit back tonight.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he gave you your stuff back.
My stuff's back at where my lodgings were. Shit. Admittedly, there's just like clothes and like some tools.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I at least have my spellcasting focus. Woohoo.
Woohoo. Well, fear not, despite the feeling of the noose sort of tightening around the group. Ondare is they just came out of war. They are not unequipped to deal with these sorts of situations. But despite all of this, fear not. You're in no danger of like a TP, a technical knockout or anything like that. This is all part of the sort of design of what we're doing here, and I guarantee you all, it's so we got good things coming next session. It's gonna be very interesting.
I would also ask, the photos of the people inside the airship, inside the Chronicle, are those other guests who were at the airship, or?
Yes. There would be, yeah. So I'm gonna probably only ever do like the front page of the Cronenberg because it's actually a lot of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll if there's the more relevant information, I'll give you guys probably like a Cliff Notes type out of like the important stuff of what's like. I'm gonna make sure the most essential information hits that front page. You'll have the information. Don't worry.
Okay.
And you guys, and yeah, I intend to have an edition made up for next session to give you some information.
Does it say if the queen is safe or not, or?
You'll find out in the next edition of the Cronenberg Chronicle.
Okay.
Tune in, $1 silver a copy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Zolly, I want to give you inspiration. There was some quick thinking with that infiltration, despite the end result. It was very impressive.
Yeah, sure.
That was cool as fuck.
I know the jump. I was like,
That was
oh
cool as
shit.
fuck.
The jump was good.
Thank you.